of the sport. This is what makes you a pugilist, okay? Oh, beautiful. Keep it flowing. Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Coach Anthony, man. Decided to do something different, man. It's Friday night. I'm in the house. I'm chilling. I'm a little bit bored, to be honest. And I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's go live, man. Let's talk. Let's talk about boxing. We got a lot of boxing coming up, man. We got Devin Haney fighting tomorrow. That should be pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? We also have we have just a lot of stuff going on, man. So, I just want to chop it up with my people, man. My YouTube family. You know what I mean? Hopefully you guys start to roll in here. And when y'all do, we're going to talk some boxing, man. So if you in here, man, let it be known. You know what I'm saying? Be present. I want to talk about everything, man. I want to talk about boxing in general. You know what I mean? I want to talk about technique. I want to talk about mindset. I want to talk about everything, man. So, there's a lot about boxing that, I think people fail to think about. They think everything about boxing is just, throwing the jab, throwing the cross, throwing the hook. But we got to talk about mindset. We got to talk about discipline. We got to talk about nutrition. We got to talk about, just what fires you up, what makes you want to be a fighter. You feel me? What makes you want to fight, So this is kind of like a pop-up live, just something that I'm doing off the top of the head. So I want you guys to get in here, ask me questions. And also, when I put the link in there for you guys to get on here, don't be scared to show your face and, let's converse. I don't got my man Fast Eddie Chambers with me today. So I'm talking directly to you guys. So you guys got to be the guests. You guys got to be the people who go ahead, and we can keep this going, but y'all got to get involved. You know what I'm saying? First, what I want to do, like always, I always got to give a sale to my people, and I always got to remind you guys, right? This is part of the business. This is part of what I do. And if you use the CA Power Hour right now, you'll get 75% off all my courses. For those of you who have my courses, thank you very much. And for those of you who don't, if you go ahead and use that CA Power Hour, I got it going right now, you'll get 75% off. The last time I gave 75% off was Black Friday. And after this, Memorial Day, I'm going to take it away for a while. Obviously, I like to come back in for the big holidays and hook you guys up with a crazy sale like this is Memorial Day weekend. Out here in Jersey, it's raining. It's kind of like a bummer, you know what I'm saying, to be honest. But that's just what it is, man. So you guys, I'm going to leave that right there for a little while. I'll probably pop back up. It's kind of covering the screen. I'm going to leave it there for a minute. And then we're going to start talking to you guys, man. And we're just going to keep it real. We're going to talk boxing with each other. And for those of you who actually get in here, we're going to have some fun, man. Big shout out to my man, Serrano Drums, man. I see you. Come forward boxing. Yo, what up? Caroline Melo, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and put your names up there. Serrano Drums, God bless you. Thank you, my brother. God bless you. Come forward boxing. Big shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? My man, Carleon Milo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it. Appreciate you for coming in here, man. Dante Amater. Be my coach, train me. I'm a southpaw. Hey, man, a lot of people want to train. A lot of people want to train with me right now. And unfortunately, I haven't been training too many people, but I'm starting to get back in the mix. So, that's going to be happening real soon. So just keep me in the loop. You know what I'm saying? Leo Alrat, did you ever get in a street fight? The truth is, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. I've been in a lot of street fights. One of the main reasons that I picked up boxing was a street fight. Growing up in New York City, fighting on the streets is almost kind of like a way of life, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? One thing about me that a lot of people don't know is, man, when I was in school, I got kicked out of every single school in my district. So I grew up in Queens, New York. Man, I used to get in a street fight in school, fighting in school. I got kicked out the whole district. I couldn't go to school in Queens anymore. They actually said, yo, you got to leave Queens. You got to go to school in a different borough at that time. You know what I mean? Like that's how that's how much I was fighting. And then on the streets, of course, I was fighting as well. Then I got into boxing. And the reason I got into boxing was I actually walked into a boxing gym with that cocky mentality because I've been in a bunch of street fights. So I go to the boxing gym and, I had to find boxing on my own. I didn't have a father. I never knew my father growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find boxing on my own. So I found the boxing gym. I go in there, tough, want to be tough guy from New York, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And the coach was like, yo, you ever boxed before? And I was like, nah, I never boxed before. But I said, I fight. I was like, I fight on the street. So I guess he didn't like how I said that and was like, oh, yeah? Come on, put your headgear on. I put my headgear on. He puts me in a ring with a kid who had just won the Golden Gloves. And this kid beat the dog piss out of me, man. Like when I say he was whooping my ass, like he was just beating my ass, And then basically he humbled me, but it was after the first round. He didn't knock me out or anything like that, but he hit me with so many punches. I was like, I couldn't breathe because I was just getting hit so much. I didn't know how to block. I didn't know how to slip, nothing. So at the end of the round, the coach goes, yo, you want another round? I said, no, I'm good. You got it or whatever. So I kind of was just like, you know what I mean? I understood that I didn't have a chance in the situation. So I was upset about it, but I showed up the next day. And the coach was like, damn, you keep coming back. I like you, man. I'm actually surprised. I thought you were going to be one of these guys who come and never come back. I said, nah, man. I said, I never want to feel that vulnerable again. You know what I mean? I was like, another man basically was able to do whatever he wanted to. Pause. He could do whatever he wanted to do with me in the ring. You know what I'm saying? But, I learned boxing and I started to compete, and I competed as an amateur. And, it was just a really good time in my life, man, because I learned so much and I was so hungry for knowledge. And I kept asking a lot of questions and learning from the other fighters in the gym. And then I started training and I started working with professional fighters in a different gym as I grew and got better and had more experience. And boxing basically saved my life, man. It's the same story you hear from a lot of people. If it wasn't for boxing, I don't know where I would be right now. So I know just to answer a short question, did I ever get in a street fight? Yes, I have. But, boxing actually made me have less street fights, if that makes sense. Thank God for boxing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Jordan Smith, what's good, champ? Terence Bain, what's good? Terence Bain, TDOA, what's good? Oh man, hold on. Oh, I'm messing up right now. It's a lot going on over here. My bad. I got Pacquiao over Errol. You know what? There's a lot of people who got Manny Pacquiao over Errol Spence, and it's not a bad pick. You can't be mad if you pick Manny Pacquiao over Errol Spence, and that's only because Manny Pacquiao is one of the GOATs. So I'm never gonna be like that's a bad pick. You know what I'm saying? That's actually a good pick. You know what I mean? But Errol Spence is still, the younger, stronger, not stronger. I'm not gonna say strong, but the younger, fresher fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'll check out that 75% great deal. Thank you so much, man. I guarantee you're going to love it. You know what I mean? Hello from Houston. Big shout out to Houston. Let's see right here. Hey, Anthony, I can snap my backhand, but when I try to snap the jab, my rotator cuff starts to become sore. What am I doing wrong? You know what? That's a hard thing for me to just envision. I would actually have to see what you're doing. But when you snap a punch, when you snap your punches, it's just like, you turn your shot over and you add a little speed to it, right? So it's pop, pop. But you don't want to like force it too hard, because when you force it, that could be what's happening. You could be like putting too much pressure on your shoulder joint, trying to force it. Just bang, just let it flow. Pop, 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 just let it flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, pop, pop, just let it flow. You don't gotta like try so hard. So I would have to see it, but for the most part, just make sure that you're just being smooth with it, you know what I mean, and release it. And don't try to be too fast. Don't try to punch too hard. Make it natural, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times what I notice is with beginners, or even with some people who just have problem with form and technique, is you try too hard. And when you're trying too hard, that's when you're putting that little extra-ness on your joints that you don't need, you know what I mean? So I would, again, I would have to see it, but that's my guess. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, coach? What's going on, champ? How are you? Greetings from Italy. Any spoilers on new courses in the making? Yeah, I got a couple of things, man. You know what? And for the people who's in here and for the people who watch this after, because a lot of my views come after. So if you're watching this not live, you could drop a comment in the regular comment section. But let me know what you guys actually want. I actually got a spoiler. I'm considering doing how to box on the inside and how to box from the outside. You know what I mean? We've been talking about that. I also been talking about doing a real basic fundamental, basically teaching you like the jab, the cross, and the hook from day one and building you up like that. And I'm also looking to do a mitt work, teaching mitt work. You know what I'm saying? Everything from technical mitt work to some of the fancy fly Floyd Mayweather craziness. I've been thinking about that. So there's little things I got in the thoughts, but if there's something in particular that you guys want, please, man, let it be known. And let me know if you like those three that I just mentioned right there. You know what I mean? K9 Boxing, what's good, K9? I've been looking for you, man. What's good, baby? Where you at? Why don't you hop in here, K9? I put the StreamYard link right in there. It'd be dope to have you on here. So let's see if my man K9 Boxing, former world champion, just trained Ben with the kid who Logan Paul or Jake Paul just beat, I believe. K9 Boxing was actually his coach for that. Not much you could do with a guy who has very limited boxing experience, but K9 did a good job, did what he could with him, and it is what it is. Let's see right here. I would also appreciate an up-to-date video on defense on the inside. My offense is easier to teach and act out, but defense scares so many people. Listen, I got a whole course, Defensive Principles 101. You should highly check that out, Nathan. It's 75% off right now. You should go ahead and check that out. It teaches you everything. You know what I mean? It's just like a step-by-step on defense. You know what I mean? I highly recommend it. If you don't have it, if you do have it and you still feel that you need more, I would like to know, what do you feel that you need to learn? Actually, I would ask you to come on the live and talk to me, because then we could talk about it right here. But Defensive Principles 101, I'm teaching everything from how to block a jab to how to block a cross to how to bend the waist to how to do different things. And then I got the Philly shell system that teaches you the shoulder roll and those type of movements as well. So it just depends what level you're at. But when you're on the inside, everything is pretty easy. It's actually easier to defend on the inside, I believe, than the outside, because from the outside, there's more things a guy could do. On the inside, shots are going to come up the middle, and shots are going to come around the side, and shots are going to come to your body. But from the outside, guys can set traps and do sneakier things. So for me, defending on the inside actually can be easier than defending from a distance, because from a distance, a guy has options. On the inside, there's only but so many options because you're both close, and it's easy for you to punch as well. So when you're on the inside, you can actually throw a short shot and disrupt your opponent's rhythm as well. So, the inside can be scary for a lot of guys, but in reality, sometimes I feel safer on the inside than the outside, because the outside, if a guy's super fast, a guy's going to be able to feint you and get a shot off. A guy's going to be able to do things that you're not going to see. It's crazy how in boxing, and this is through my own experience, this ain't me watching no tape. This is me actually boxing, guys. And it's amazing to me when I used to get caught, and especially when I would box a really, really good boxer, and I didn't see the shot. And it's like, damn, you only got two hands. You only got two hands. How did I not see that shot? You feel me? But it's the old saying, the hand is quicker than the eye. That's why crooks are able to be crooks, right? You can steal a lot faster than somebody can catch you stealing a lot of the times. It's the same thing in boxing. Even though I only got two hands, you feel me? I can hit you with a feint. You can go to cover up. When you go to cover up, you leave a hole. bang, I could slip over, rip another shot. So, you know, I don't know how I got to that point, but my whole point is, you know, from a distance, you have a lot of things you can do, a lot of tricks, mid-range, that mid-range area. That's kind of a real dangerous place to be. Being really close and being all the way back are actually the safest places to be, because all the way back, you obviously can't get hit, right? Because you're out of range. I just made a video called The 3 Ranges in Boxing, right? So when you're completely out of range, you ain't got to worry about nothing until the guy gets into range or until you make a decision to get into range. But from that mid-range is where most of the things that can knock you out can happen. When you're in close, you can smother, you can put your weight on a guy, you can clinch a guy. There's so many more defensive things you could do on the inside to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts on that. Let's see here, man. Sometimes, man, when I'm talking about stuff in boxing, what happens is I start, like, one thing goes into the next, and then it goes into the next, and then it goes into the next. You know what I mean? All those courses sound awesome. Thank you very much. I'm about to get a box and burn certification. Do you think that's a good move? I'm becoming a trainer and I have 3.5 Muay Thai. Hey, man, if you think it's going to benefit you, why not? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not too familiar on the course and how it is. You know, I know my man Tony Jeffries, you know what I'm saying, is doing it. And big shout out to Tony Jeffries. Me and him has had conversations on the phone, and I met him in person, and you know, he's doing his thing, and the box and burn certification is something that he does. I mean, listen, if you feel that that's going to help you, but I really believe that the best way that you become good at holding mitts in boxing is to learn boxing, learn how to box. Don't just learn how to hold the mitts. And let me make sure that you're not telling me that you are. I'm becoming a trainer. I have 3.5 Muay Thai private lessons under my belt. So you have a little Muay Thai under your belt. You know what I mean? So the best way to gain experience in this game is to do it. But, you know, those things, if you feel, that's more of a personal preference. If you feel that you need that, then go for it. Hey, coach, what's your thoughts on a fighter that switches from traditional to southpaw in a fight? My thoughts are, if you can do it, why not? Right? If you can do it, why not? But if you can't do it, you're gonna get knocked the hell out. You know what I mean? You have to box where you feel the most comfortable. You know what I mean? You have to box where you feel the most comfortable. Now, this is gonna be the caveat here. A lot of people will say, I feel more comfortable southpaw. But these are typically people, 9 times out of 10, that never really boxed. So most people off the street tell me they feel more comfortable southpaw because they want that right hand in the front, because they're right hand dominant, right? You right with your right hand. So now you want to throw your right hand, so you feel that you need it in the front so you could throw all those hard punches. But we teach you and we turn your body so you can go ahead and you could throw it from here. So now you learn how to use both hands. So that's the reason why we convert you to a conventional boxer. Some fighters like Oscar De La Hoya and others in history are converted orthodox fighters, and vice versa, where you have guys who are actually lefties who fight like righties and righties who fight like lefties. But for the most part, you know, we turn you for that reason. And then if you can switch, if you can actually learn both sides, like Jaron Ennis from Philadelphia right down the street, if you got a guy like Jaron Ennis, he can actually fight from both sides very well. And if you can do it, yes. I used to train a fighter by the name of Hammer Hank Lundy. He was fantastic at switching as well. So some guys can switch, most can't, but it all comes down to how you were trained and how you came up in the game and what your athletic ability is and what your learning curve is and those type of things. So all those things are very, very, very important. Oh my God, I got a surprise guest on the pop-up live. Oh, I'm not by myself. Listen, I put the link. And you the one who clicked the link, ladies and gentlemen. We got Mr. Moonshine. What's good, my guy?
What's good, Coach Anthony, world-renowned trainer of the world? What's good, man?
I'm chilling, man. You know, I was going to go out. The rain up here is whack. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to chill in the house. And what better? Oh, shit. I'm like, what better than to cool out here with my people on YouTube and utilize this live, you know what I mean? And answer some fundamental questions. You know, I like, every time I come here, I'm always talking about the upcoming fights and stuff like that and what happened the week before, and that's fun. But every once in a while, it's dope to talk about what I'm known for, which is teaching and giving, different opinions on boxing. Even though we got a dope fight tomorrow with my man Devin Haney, man, I wish I would have hit up Bill to get him on my line. I know I've been on yours with him a few times, but I know he's busy with the fight week. I ain't want to bother him. I want to keep him in fight mode. Maybe I'll chop it up with him, next week or something like that.
That's a good fight. That's a good step up fight for Devin Haney. You know what I wanted to ask you though. There's a lot of fighters, there's a lot of fighters that's fundamentally sound, but you can't teach awkwardness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a fight that was announced, Earl Spence, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao got a lot of awkwardness, right? How can you, as Earl Spence, if you was in this corner, how can you prepare for the awkwardness of Manny Pacquiao? Because I think a lot of things that Manny Pacquiao could do, is it teachable? Is not teachable? So how can you prepare for that awkwardness? And you know that Earl Spence is fundamentally sound, like straight up and down. But Manny Pacquiao was like the opposite southpaw where the awkwardness. How can you prepare for this awkwardness?
In reality, there's not too much you can do other than work your fundamentals. For one, you want to make sure your athlete's in really good shape, right? Physical condition. Make sure that he's ready and he's prepared for anything that gets thrown at him. So that's we got to make sure that our fighter is mentally and physically conditioned. That's very, very important. That's more important. Like a lot of people might not talk about that. Everybody wants to talk about boxing strategy and this and this and this and this. But the main thing, let's make sure our guy is in top peak condition, because when you got a guy like Errol Spence who has good fundamentals already, who's already experienced, who's already been fighting, he has his bag of tricks. He has the things that he likes to do already that's natural to him, right? Mm-hmm. Let's get our guy in the best shape possible. And let's make sure that he's utilizing the things that he does in the gym. Let's make sure he's using his jab. Let's make sure his hands are staying up. With a guy like Manny Pacquiao, I want my guy to keep his hands up. With a guy like Manny Pacquiao, I want my guy to be first with the jab. With a guy like Manny Pacquiao, if we got distance the way he has distance, I want my guy keeping his weight a little bit on that back foot so you can catch him coming in possibly with some of those jumping punches that Manny Pacquiao likes to look some sort of a counter and then get back to a good jab. And let's not let Manny get started. Because if you let Manny Pacquiao get started and you start to fall behind, you're going to look up in the 5th and 6th rounds and now you're playing catch up. And you're dealing with an experienced veteran like Manny Pacquiao who knows how to do these things. He knows how to get those early rounds and keep that lead going. But we also know that Manny Pacquiao has defensive flaws. We also know that he jumps in. We know that he pulls out. We know that he does certain things that he can be caught. And I don't think Manny Pacquiao fights very well on the inside either. So if Errol Spence can get on the inside and break him down to that body a little bit,
true.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to find out if Manny Pacquiao ages overnight. You know what I mean? So I just think Errol Spence needs to be very fundamentally sound, be first with his jab. Don't wait. Don't be that guy who's waiting to see what Manny Pacquiao does. Let him know from the very beginning that you're here to fight. You're here to dethrone him. Use your jab. Get the work. Catch those weird shots on your gloves. You know what I mean? And he should be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't remember the last time somebody tried to, approach Manny Pacquiao implementing the body punches on Manny Pacquiao. I don't remember the last opponent to try to go get him at the body. But also this fight, Jorge Linares and Devin Haney's an interesting fight. What do you say about, Devin Haney's been working with a lot of different trainers, right? But then come fight night, it's his dad in the corner, right? So we got Ben Davison, that probably got Tyson Fury back from the dead, and he got Josh Taylor, who won the Undisputed this past weekend. But I don't think he's gonna be in the corner. So you work in corners. How is it the chemistry and You're training this guy, but then come fight night, you're not the guy in the corner. You're not the guy that implemented the game plan. Now it's your dad in the corner. What do you feel about that?
I'm
Do you
not.
think that lasts long, like in box?
I'm
Cause
not, I'm not a fan of that at all. I've been in that situation now, and honestly, I'm not. Listen. I've done it because trainers in boxing, we have to take our opportunities sometimes. Sometimes we take opportunities whether we like them or not. It's kind of like somebody who takes a job, right? Like, you know, you may go to work for a company and you're not really excited to work for that company, but you have to feed your family, right?
yeah. Hmm.
Sometimes as trainers, that happens to us as well. And we have to make a decision. Do we want to eat shit? You know what I'm saying? For the opportunity? Or do we just want to just say, nah, I don't want an opportunity. I'm going to wait till I get my own guy and do it myself. Sometimes that guy never comes. So sometimes we got to take these opportunities. I don't like working with a guy and not being in the corner on fight night.
Mm.
I don't like that. And I also don't like being the guy who fills in a guy who I never worked with. Now, I've done that before in the amateurs. There's been
Yeah,
times
yeah.
in amateur fights where a coach will say, hey, man, I couldn't get my USA boxing book updated. Yo, Coach Ant, can you work my son's corner? And I'll be like, all right, come on, I got him. But 9 times out of 10, I know the kid because he used to bring his kids over to my gym to spar my kids. So even though I never coached him, I know him. I kind of know the things that he does well because he's already boxed my guys in the gym. So
Hmm.
it's easy for me to say, give instruction. But in reality, you want to be there to give a guy the instruction that you've been working with. And as a fighter, I would expect the fighter to want the guy who's been teaching him to want that guy in the corner. And at the end of the day, the fighter's the boss. So it should be the fighter who says who he wants in the corner. And
What about
what's
if, if the trainer is the dad? Like it's
well,
harder. It's harder.
this is the thing. I don't know Bill outside of shaking his hand, saying hello. I mean, I hung out with him when Tevin Farmer fought a couple of times. We were in the same hotel and we worked out together. And he's a cool dude. But I don't know what his personal thing is when it comes to Devin. I know Devin's his baby. I know he loves Devin, and I'm pretty sure he's loving all the limelight and everything that comes with being, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, the trainer of a world champion. And he probably wants that credit and he wants that stuff. But if he has his son's best intentions, I would suggest to him, let whoever is really doing the work do the work. You're the father. You're not going nowhere. Devin
Hmm.
loves you to the day, you know what I'm saying? You got,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, part or whatever, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So you ain't got to worry about that relationship. You're getting paid regardless. So we don't got to worry about the money situation, right? You
Yeah.
probably don't even care for the money that much because it's your son, right? So if you want your kid to have longevity and you're not the one hands on, let the other guy do his job. That's my opinion.
And who's successful in that? Like people don't realize Earl Spence' dad is always in the corner. He's the second trainer. But we all know Derek James is the head trainer, but his father is there. Henry Garcia, and Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is the head trainer, but Henry Garcia, his father, is still a second trainer, so he's there. I think that I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna last. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I don't think it's
What
gonna
do you
last.
think is going to last? The Bill Haney situation, or you don't think that
Well, let's say, for example, okay.
or you think the new trainer is going to part himself from the situation?
So let's say, for example, Mayweather Senior, right? Remember that was I don't remember which fight it was, but that fight where him and Bill Haney was going at it in the corner during the fight, and then Senior left. Mayweather Senior left. Then you got Mikey. Then you have Mickey Bay. Mickey Bay was supposed to be the head trainer. Now he's training him throughout the fight, but then here comes fight night. He's not the head trainer no more. Then it's Bill Haney. And then fast forward, now we got Ben Davison. Now he's been training Devin Haney, but come fight night, I got a good feeling that he's not gonna be the head trainer because it's just the way they've been doing their business. If you look at Devin Haney, it look like he's like you ever heard of a bar hopper? See, I'm a bar hopper. I go from bar to bar to bar, bar. Feel me? I think for me they gym hoppers. So How is it gonna last that long? Just hopping from gym to gym, from trainer to trainer, you know. In every other fight, you got a different trainer. But then fight night, the voice that you hear is dad. How long would that last at the high level?
I mean, look, man, it's been working for them. But that's not something that trainers really like. What happens in this game is when you do that too much, and I'm only speaking off of what you're telling me. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't really watch them that close. But what I will say, if what you're saying is accurate, people,
Oh, it's accurate.
fighters, coaches, I should say, hate that in reality. Coaches hate that. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like for instance, I had a kid that I used to train. He was an amateur, super talented. When I got him, he already bounced from like 5 trainers. I had him for about 5 to 6 fights. He won 5 out of 6 fights with me. Then one day the father says, "Yo, you're a little bit too far. We're gonna go somewhere else." He goes back to some other trainer. Then he goes to some other trainer. Then he goes back and goes back to one of the trainers he had before me. And it's like he already got the reputation of just a guy. So now other trainers is like, I would not touch that kid with a 10-foot pole because we put all our teachings into a guy, and then next thing you know, you pick up and go. You go somewhere else, and the trainers who put in the work aren't getting the credit because the father's getting the credit, or you know what I'm saying, or the next trainer's getting the credit for the work I put in. If I put in work with a guy, for 2-3 years, and then you go to another guy, and then you work with him for 2 months, and then you win your fight. Well, like, who's getting the credit there? Like, I've been working with you for 3-4 years, man. Like, you think that 2 months overrode everything I did for 3-4 years? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just how the game is. You know what I mean? It's not a good thing. I would suggest that I would hope that Bill Haney's learning a hell of a lot so he can be able to run the show though everybody starts to say, "We're good, Bill. Thank you, man, but no thank you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hopefully he knows what to do at this stage. He's learned from all these good trainers, and he can say, "You know what? I don't need you guys no more." Because eventually it may come to that.
Oh, I feel that's good. I don't know. I just feel it's kind of. I'm saying in my mind like, damn, it's gonna last. I mean, he's winning, so of course, whatever's not, the saying, whatever's not
Listen,
broken,
people
don't
want to
fix
be
it.
part of the winning team. You know what I mean? That's what Bill's always gonna have, and Devin's always gonna have his leverage. Like, yo, y'all want to be down with us? Look, if Bill hit me up tomorrow and said, "Coach N, will you come work with Devin?" I'm gonna say, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna work with Devin. Let's go." Now, I'm not worried about none of that other stuff because I get to be part of that winning team. I'm good with that. You see what
But
I'm saying?
how about if they say that during the training camp you're the head trainer, but then come fight week, then you're not the head trainer? How you feel about that?
Well, I mean, we're just gonna discuss what the payments are, right? I'm gonna make sure, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, I can protect the situation to where I'm getting paid, and now it's business now. You know what I mean? If that's how it's gonna be, that's okay. But we're going to conduct business now. So that's all it is. Boxing is a business, and it's like that for the trainers as well. We can't get too emotionally wrapped up in these things. We have to say, okay, well, how much do I get paid? And then when a guy says, well, you're not going to get paid what a trainer gets paid, then I can say, well, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, but not only do I not get to work the corner, I also don't get paid. Not interested. You see what I'm saying? So it just comes down to one of those things. Now, if he says, look, Ant, we're going to take care of you, and he shows me, this is what you're going to get paid. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah? All right, and we shake hands. Then, yo, man, I took the job.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I took the job. And I'd be lying if I say I never did. We call that shadow training in boxing. I done shadow trained a few fighters. As a matter of fact, I just did it with Josue Vargas. I just worked with Josue Vargas. I wasn't in the corner for that.
Okay, so it's like the hip hop. You got your Ghost Rider. So you the shadow. So you the shadow trainer, Coach Ant. You doing shadow. You the shadow ghost out here.
I'm just saying, these are gigs that we take as trainers sometimes. Some trainers are so established and their egos are so big they'll never do it. They'll say, I'll never do that. And I respect it. And then you have others who do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them guys at this moment that I'll do it. I might flip the script in a year or two, or if I start my own stable and I take professional coaching seriously to that next level, I might say never again. But these are the stepping stones sometimes you have to take. But yo, I've seen a lot of trainers do it. I've seen guys like Freddie Roach do it. I've seen guys, Freddie Roach, working with guys, and then the guys will go out and they'll go back to their original train. Like everybody does it at some point in their coaching career. Like these guys are
Yeah.
act like they don't do that, but they do.
It's like and you know a lot about Philly, that area. Richardson, the late Richardson. I know he used to work with Danny Garcia as well. You know, with the Brandon Rios fight
Yeah.
and the
So
and
does
the
my man Billy Briscoe, who's currently, you know what I mean, alive today, was King, or Gabriel Rosado's trainer. Big shout out to my man Billy. I always try to plug him in my stuff because he's somebody who I talk to all the time. And listen, you have guys who are extremely knowledgeable. They know the game. But, you know, listen. All right. So, for instance, you got a kid. That's your son. You've been working with him for 20 years, but you heard of me. And
yeah.
you like how I operate. And you bring him to me for a specialty, yo, Coach, and I want you to help my kid get a little bit better with his defense. He's getting caught with some shit. I think that you're the guy. And then I start to work with this kid and I help him out. But you're like, yo, that's all I brought him to you for. I didn't bring him to you so you could like take over. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? That's what happens. And you know, sometimes I respect that. I'd be like, all right, that's cool. You know, I appreciate the fact that you trust me enough to bring those things out of your son or your fighter. And I understand that that's your fighter. So go ahead, go back, do your thing. You see what I'm saying? So I don't have a big problem with it. You know what I mean? But I do want to be compensated for my work, my effort, and my time. That's it.
How
You know what I
many
mean?
how many fighters in your career have come to you, but they want you to be the trainer, but they don't have the heart to tell the trainer that they're with that, you know, you're a better
All the
trainer.
time. All the time. Listen, man, if I really wanted to, man, I could have a deep stable of guys. But my thing is, I don't want to take on guys if I'm not going to give them 110%. You know what I mean? And right now, you know, I've always been a businessman along with coaching. I'm not just a coach. You know what I'm saying? I tell people that all the time. You have a lot of guys out here who are coaches, 100% to the core, nitty gritty. They fucking live, breathe, eat shit coaching. And I respect those guys. And I did that for many years. But I was also a gym owner. I also work with regular clients. I work with regular people. I have a YouTube channel. I create courses. I do different stuff. So I'm not just a guy sitting around waiting for the next guy, at least at this stage. I'm out here getting it on my own. I'm not depending on a fighter to make me who I am. I'm making myself. And my thing is, eventually, when I settle down a little bit, I believe I will end up going that route because it's just in my natural DNA. And I believe that I'm holding back. I believe that I have so much to give, so much to offer a fighter. But at the same time, you have to be able to pay your bills every month. You have to, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have a career. I don't have a fucking pension and none of that. So I got to make sure that I'm constantly figuring out a way to make ends meet. And a lot of the times working with these fighters isn't lucrative until they get to that very high level. And how many guys really get to that level? You know what I mean?
I feel you. I feel you.
So that's just where I'm at with that. You feel me? Hold on, I got to get my man right here for the what do you call this? The super what? What's
With
this called? The super.
the
What
super chat, super chat.
super chat? Big shout out to the super chat. I never promote the super chat, but if y'all want to go ahead and do the super chat, you already know Warp Speed. Big shout out to you. I know you sent that, man. But my man came in. We started talking. Coach Anthony, in your estimation, who will win, Donier or? Oh, man, I don't even know who this guy Dornier is fighting. Man, Moonshine, talk to me because I don't know who this guy is.
Obali is the French. He's the WBC champion right now. Bantamweight battle. Nonito Donaire Obali. That's a good. He's a French. He's French. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. This is like a.
I mean, I always loved Nonito Donaire, but you know, as he gotten older, he started to fall off. And then, I mean, I haven't kept up with that division really. You know,
I think when Nonito Donaire, when he jumped up in weight, he figured out, like, you know what I'm saying, he should have never jumped up in weight. His power didn't transition to the weight class, so he came back down to the bantamweight, and and he showed up versus Naoya Inoue. He showed up, he got cracked in the ribs, he stood back up, he fractured Naoya Inoue is orbital bone. So even in the loss, he was. I think he did a great deal for himself. Now he got this fight that is a championship fight, and he could become a WBC champion. And the other champions is Inoue and Jungriel Casimero. So you could see two Filipinos going at it. If he beats Ubali, and then you could see Casimero versus Nonito Donaire, probably in the Philippines, or you could see the rematch with Naoya Inoue, which is a pound. A lot of people got Naoya Inoue top three in their pound for pound list. You know,
Now, I'm glad you came on, bro. I'm glad you came on because I would have not been able to answer that whatsoever. Man, guys, forgive me for not knowing everything about the fighters today. I'll be so zoned into what I'm doing, Moonshine, that I don't be paying attention to every name. If this would have been back when I was still training as a boxer, I'd have known I knew every single person in boxing. Now, I'm only keeping up with who I can keep up with. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but that's a good fight. That's the same. That's the same fight. Well, that's gonna be in the Showtime telecast, and I'm sorry, Devin Haney and Jorge Linares is going to be in the zone telecast. So it's going to be showing at the same time. It's either you're going to, they compromising the fan. It's either you're going to see the Devin Haney fight or the Nonito Donaire fight. But both of these fights are good. Championship fights. But I got Nonito Donaire.
Ah, you got no in there. Okay.
Yeah. I got Nonito Donaire winning. I don't think Obali got enough power to keep Nonito Donaire off of him.
All right, let's talk about this question right here. Coach, what do you think about Floyd fighting a taller fighter? He's never fought a guy of this weight class. Please reply. Big shout out to you, Sakin Kumar. I guess that's how you would say your name. So I guess you're referring to the Logan Paul fight. I see Floyd Mayweather doing just fine. I think that a guy like Logan Paul, who's very green, isn't going to be able to establish a thing that a typical tall fighter would be able to establish. Now, had this been a really highly touted professional fighter, then Floyd Mayweather would have a lot to deal with because Logan Paul is a pretty, big guy. You know what I'm saying?
Cruiserweight.
Yeah, he's a freaking, compared to Floyd, but I just think that he's going to have so many holes in his game. When he throws, Floyd's going to slip and slide and get under that jab, and he's going to get in. He's going to tap the body. And if Floyd Mayweather really, really wants to, I believe he'll stop Logan Paul. I just don't know what his mentality is going into this fight. I don't know what kind of training regimen he has going into this fight. But I would be willing to bet my last dollar if he really, really wanted to. He could stop Logan Paul within the first 5 rounds, whether it be by gassing him out, whether it be by just touching him up. You know what I mean? That's my honest opinion. But then again, I don't know if Floyd's going to carry him. I don't know what's going to happen. I felt when he fought Conor McGregor, he carried him. We never seen Floyd Mayweather just walk a guy down like this for 10 rounds. He did that versus Conor McGregor. I really don't believe he's going to do that with Logan Paul because Logan Paul is really a bigger guy. I think with Logan, he's going to stay elusive. He's going to keep his upper body moving and make him look silly and touch him. You know what I mean? But I think Floyd does just fine. I don't think the height's an issue because Logan Paul's experience level is so low. Had he been a higher experience level, it'd be a big problem.
I would have picked the little brother because Logan Paul lost to another YouTuber. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, listen, I would have been dope if they would have took what he said when they was like, "Yo, I'll fight you both one night."
I would have took that.
That would have been fire. Like I think that he would have got double the money he was trying to get. Obviously, I think the whole world would have stopped to watch it. I think even real boxing fans who don't like this would have said, "Yo, I'm watching that."
Do you think that Floyd Mayweather would get enticed because a lot of people is making it is giving a lot of props to Manny Pacquiao for still fighting the type of challenges he's fighting? Do you think that? Because to be honest, I'm hearing in Las Vegas he's training like it's a real pro fight. Do you think that Floyd Mayweather is just using this because he got something lined up coming September?
Say that one more time.
You think he's just using this as just for more like a promotional use because he got something lined up later on this year?
Floyd,
yeah.
I don't know, man, what Floyd got lined up. But I just think that he's smart enough to see that fighting a Logan Paul or Jake Paul is where the money's at, and I just think that he feels like stealing some money. I just think that he understands that this is easy money. Where the hell else is he going to get this kind of money for this kind of easy situation? Like, honestly, look, I've seen guys in LA Fitness lifting weights, strong, strong. Look, they look good. They go to the heavy bag room, start hitting that bag, and I'll be watching. I'll be like, damn, if I'd have saw you on the street, I'd have thought you really had a little bit of a chance. Like, and in my mind, I'm like, I would beat the hell out of this guy. And I'm not trying to act like a tough guy or disrespectful, but when I see them punch, I'm just like, holy shit. Like, by the looks of him, if you saw him and saw me, you would give me no chance. But then you see him start swinging, and you're like, oh shit, Coach Anthony will whoop this guy's ass. I think that that's what Floyd Mayweather when he sees a Logan Paul and a Jake Paul getting glorified by these people who know nothing about boxing. And he's like, you know what? Let me see if I can get the lottery ticket, get this easy money real quick. I'm not going to get caught. I'm not going to break a sweat. I'm going to smoke him, and I'm going to walk away with 50, 60. I don't even know how many millions he's fighting for. I mean, who wouldn't do it? I'd fight Logan Paul tomorrow if I was going to get with fucking Floyd Mayweather. I'll do it right now. I ain't trained for boxing in years. I'd do that shit tomorrow for the check that Floyd's going to get. You see what I'm saying? So it's a no-brainer. It's a fucking no-brainer. You feel me? Like,
easy money, robbing the bank.
Listen, that's a no-brainer. You have to take that fight if you can get it. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. It sucks for the real boxing fan who really hates to see these type of things happening. And I understand the frustration. But at the end of the day, we don't know Floyd's financial situation. You see him buying this and buying that. He might have tax issues. He might have, he might have spread himself too thin. He's probably like, man, I got to go back out there and grab a couple dollars real quick. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So we don't know. Let's see. Sometimes we have to check our egos and know we can't be perfect and great at everything. That's a fact. Exactly, Coach Anthony. I'm going to bring my boy to Coach Anthony after the JOs. Yep, all right, I'm with it. I'm trying to see what's going on in here, man. It's hard for me to like. Okay. And this one just popped up. Will Crawford fight this year? Well, big shout out to you, Neil, for the record. Thank you for this super chat. Why is this one yellow and the other one was green?
Because that one is more money.
I like that. What happens when it goes to another color? What's the next color after yellow?
I think it's red.
Yo, we need some red. Who want to turn that shit red? Yo, big shout out to Neil Martin, man. Thank you, brother. Why not? Like, what's up with Terence, bro? See, look, Moonshine's more the guy paying attention to, what's going on next and this and that. I'm more the guy that you come ask questions when you want to know the game. But talk to me, Moonshine. What is going on with Terence Crawford? I mean, I feel like this freaking guy, I feel like he's going to be another Boo Andrade or something one day. Like, what is up with my man? Like, why is he not getting fights regularly?
I think it's promotional. I think Bob Arum just can't secure big fights. And I think he's trying to blame Crawford for the quote unquote lack of interest or promotion or self-promotion. But I think it's Bob Arum just can't secure the big fights. And I think, but also I think Bud Crawford got to take accountability because he signed an extension with Top Rank, knowing when he was going to move up to the welterweight division, and that was 2018. He should have never signed the extension. But then he's getting $4.4 million for a fight, guaranteed. So, I mean, he's securing his family. Nobody's getting. How many people's getting a $4.4 million guarantee in boxing right now?
Mm-hmm.
So he got a good deal. But knowing that he was going to go to the welterweight division and campaigning in the welterweight division, everybody with PBC, and this is why he can't secure a big fight. So, but the good thing about it is that his contract ends this October. So maybe by the end of the year, you're going to see a big fight coming from Bud Crawford. I think so.
Who do you think he's going to get a chance to fight? Who do you think he's going to fight?
To be honest, in my opinion, I think, man, the only two names that I think that people's gonna be content with Bud Crawford fighting is Keith Thurman or Sean Porter. I think any other name, nobody's gonna be happy with Bud Crawford. At this point, a lot of people is very frustrated with Bud Crawford with the lack of competition, the lack of opposition. So I think there's only two names that really gonna get the people, or maybe a Danny Garcia as well. That's a little rivalry that's from the amateur days. But I think that the only names that I think that he would get that type of respect, like if you hear Bud Crawford versus this person, will be Keith Thurman or Sean Porter.
Yeah, I mean, to me, but I think every put it this way: if Errol Spence goes ahead and beats Pacquiao as he should, quote unquote, right? And I say quote unquote because we know that Pacquiao is not somebody to overlook. If he ain't fighting Crawford after that, then I don't really know what else to say. Like them the two top dogs. Crawford needs to fight somebody while you know leading up to that fight as well. And like you said, it needs to be. I think Sean Porter is the perfect candidate, even though he's getting Sean Porter in the back end of his career. And even if he wins, we're gonna say that Sean Porter wasn't the same Sean Porter and all of that type of stuff. At least we know that Sean Porter is still a legitimate guy. And if he dominates Sean Porter like nobody's been able to do, then it's gonna speak volumes. You know what I'm saying?
But I
And
think
how about Keith Thurman?
see, for me, this why I say Keith Thurman, because Earl Spence just did what Keith Thurman did in 2017. Earl Spence just beat Sean Porter and Daniel Garcia back to back. Keith Thurman already did that. The only thing that Keith Thurman, his only thing was losing to Manny Pacquiao. Now, if you put Keith Thurman versus Bud Crawford, I think it's better than Sean Porter. I think, in my opinion, because Keith Thurman already beat Sean Porter. So if he beats Keith Thurman, I think I think it's better. I think Keith Thurman is a bigger name. His views are better. He don't how to say it, like, he never disappointed any network. NBC with Ghost Guerrero, 4 million views. Sean Porter, CB, no, that was Showtime. That was 4 million. Daniel Garcia and Keith Thurman, 5 million. Even Josecito Lopez, before the 4.2 million views from the ESPN with Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, the guy that had the most views was actually Keith Thurman versus Josecito Lopez for 3 million. So Keith Thurman brings in, it never disappoints the networks. So you get Keith Thurman, you got Bud Crawford, and then you got a Manny Pacquiao versus Earl Spence. I think that's great. That's a great summer to me. What you think?
Man, it sounds good to me too. I mean, I would love to see Keith Thurman back in the mix, man. You know what I mean?
And also Bomac, Terence Crawford trainer said that Keith Thurman is a harder fight for Bud Crawford than Earl Spence because the styles. What you think about that?
It just depends what Keith Thurman does. We have to see how Keith Thurman bounced back. We haven't seen nothing from Keith Thurman, so it was very difficult to make that assumption. Now, there was a time where Keith Thurman, yes, you can say that, but I just feel like over time, Keith Thurman, with the injuries and the loss to Manny Pacquiao, kind of looks like he's on a quick decline. So we don't know yet. He literally has to come back and shock us with a major win. I think that he needs to fight somebody good. I don't know who the hell he could fight, but he needs to get a good fight in and win before I can go ahead and say he's a tougher fight than Errol Spence. Errol Spence came back from a life-threatening car accident and literally beat Danny Garcia, who is still a top dog in the division, whether you believe it or not. He's still a top competitor, and he looked pretty much dominant in that performance. So, with that being said, he has more to prove. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman has more to prove. Even though I thought he was proving a lot for a long time, he has more to prove. We're going to see with my man right here. How do you know if a boxing trainer is good or stealing your money? I'll give you the easiest way. Whatever he teaches you, come to Coach Anthony Boxing on YouTube and compare it. And if we're saying something totally different, There's your answer. You know he's stealing your money. Nah, but in reality, man, you need to do a somewhat of a background check on your boxing coach. You have to do some kind of a background check. You got to know, like, okay, was he a fighter, or did he train good fighters, or does he have anybody good now that he's teaching? And you know what I mean? And is he paying attention to the details? Everything comes into details in boxing. It's the details that matter. Anybody can tell you throw a jab, but is he paying attention to when you throw your jab if you're turning it over? Is he paying attention that you're bringing it straight back to your chin and not a little bit down where you can get clipped? Or is he paying attention that your elbows are in? Is he paying attention to the little details? Because that's the difference. Like, for instance, my man Moonshine right here. I've seen him hit a heavy bag a few times. He knows how to throw a jab. He knows how to throw a cross. He knows how to throw a hook. He knows how to throw an uppercut. He knows how to slip. He knows how to roll. He knows how to block. He knows the basics, right? So do I. But guess what? If I ever sparred with Moonshine, I'm going to try to capitalize on the little things that he doesn't do right. It ain't the big things that he does right, because if he's throwing a punch, everybody could do that. What I'm looking for is, does he drag his jab? Does he drag his right hand? Does he keep his hands too low? Does he cross his feet when he goes left and right? Is he making these little mistakes that I could capitalize on? And if I see a mistake, even this big, pause, I'm capitalizing on it. So that's the difference between a good trainer and a bad trainer. A good trainer is going to pay attention to every freaking detail, period. Not just say, yeah, good job, see you tomorrow, so you can keep paying your membership or keep paying to come back, because he wants to keep you happy. A trainer's going to tell you straight up, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Nah, man, bring your hand back. What are you doing? Keep your elbow in. Yo, you keep crossing your feet. No, I can't advance you until you improve these basics, because I can't build a house with a bad foundation. And that's how you know. If he really cares, that's how he's going to treat you. I know I be going on a rant. I be going on a rant when it comes to this shit, man. I'm sorry, man, but it's the truth. You know what I mean? I see too many trainers letting shit slide, especially these boxing fitness coaches. They don't tell their fucking their clients anything. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm getting a call. Okay, let's see what's going on. Thank you, Coach. On point. Thank you. Great show. We need open. Yo, listen, guys. Look, this is what I'm gonna do. I already, I like to do this. I'm gonna put the link in there, and if anybody want to come in here, listen. I didn't invite my man Moonshine, even though he's always invited. This is my guy. He's always more than welcome to come on the show and just hop in, and you know what I mean. But
John Edward, hop in, man. John Edward, man.
Let me see, who's that?
He mad. Hop in, my brother.
I didn't see his comments yet.
Yo, let me ask you this about this comment that you made. You said, you tweeted, just because it's fitness boxing doesn't mean you shouldn't learn proper form of a technique. I'm seeing way too much ridiculousness coming out of these fitness boxing programs. I think it's time to come back to the gym business. What you mean about that? Who you going against, Coach?
I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. So I'm just, I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I follow so many people in the boxing industry, from professional trainers to amateur trainers. I try to show as much love as I can. I try to follow as many people who's in boxing as I can and reply to all the messages. And I try to be interactive with the community because I want the people to know I'm accessible to them. But then I see these ridiculous boxing videos, and I'm just like, it's so bad, and I hate to say it so bluntly, but it's like, I understand you don't want to be a fighter. I get it. Not everybody who does this wants to be a fighter. But Jesus Christ, throw the fucking punches correctly at least. You feel me? Like these stupid ass heavy bag combinations, the mid-work flow drills that they're trying to mimic the Floyd Mayweathers of the world, and they just do it so terribly, and does everything about it. And then the people who's teaching have less experience than some of the people in the fucking classes. It's like, so we're gonna go ahead and learn from a guy who doesn't know nothing. You see what I'm saying? And what bothers me about it is you have a lot of boxing trainers out here who are capable of running classes and teaching fitness classes, but they're not getting these opportunities because they're not business minded. They don't understand how to translate their craft into business. I'm so happy that I'm not one of those guys. But these guys, they don't know how to, or they're not being hired by business guys because these people want to have the certain look of their business. They want their trainer to be, physically fit looking and whatever, but they're totally incapable of teaching boxing in any way, shape, or form. And the only thing they're doing is hurting the client.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing they're doing is hurting the client because now you got these clients throwing these stupid ass punches. What happens when they break their wrist? What happens when they hurt their shoulder? What happens because you have a person who's not, because he looks good or she looks good. You feel me? Look, I got out of shape during the COVID. If y'all didn't know who Coach Anthony was and I walked in your gym, you're going to be like, man, this guy's not in like great shape. Like, I don't want to get in shape listening to like, but one thing I do is I have a fucking brain full of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I can teach. I can get a motherfucker in shape. I can do it all. So my thing is like, you're going to judge a book by its cover, and then you're going to hurt the client in the long run. So that was just my thing. I just think that more boxing trainers, especially these boxing trainers who unfortunately aren't making enough money and they still want to work with fighters, they need to be gifted these opportunities to be trainers at these fitness, these boutique gyms. Put them in a nice shirt. You know what I'm saying? Tell them that their job is to get in shape too. Dude, but give these guys the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, let's do some kind of an incentive. Your program will grow and it will be so much better. But that's okay. I want them to keep doing that. You know why? Because I'm going to open up again and everybody's going to come to my gym. Okay. And everybody in my gym is going to learn the right way to do it. And
tell them, coach.
And everybody's going to get a great workout. And everybody's going to fucking love the gym. And I'm going to hire help. And my help are going to be experienced trainers who know what the hell they're doing. And it's going to be fantastic, and everybody's going to be happy. So, yeah, guys, keep on with the ridiculousness. I need y'all to. Y'all just going to make my gym look that much better. You feel me? Like, that's
they're going to recognize the truth.
You feel me? That's how we're doing it, man. So, all right. Let me see what else we got over here. Tell them, Coach, you heard me? You heard me? You heard me? Listen, guys, listen.
He said the boutique. The boutique
gym. You feel me? Like, listen, I'm not hating. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, listen, do your thing, but yo, you should have some kind of a criteria before you hire a trainer. You know what I mean? It shouldn't just be looks. You know what I mean? It shouldn't just be looks.
Yeah.
But so I don't know, man. People, I'm putting the link in there. It seems like y'all scared to get on here. Listen, get in here. Talk to me. This is the way you can get the most out of me. Listen, I'm chilling tonight, Moonshine. What you got going on tonight?
Man.
Did you go live on your channel?
Nah, I haven't gone live yet. I'll probably go and do the midnight shift, man.
Oh, you're gonna do the midnight shift. Okay, well, it's already 12:33, so you 33 minutes on the midnight shift.
It's early, man. It's early, man. 24/7.
Oh no. Also, coaches should let their clients know their experience. Yeah, I mean, I think that should be part of, when you look at the guy's name before you hire him, it should say, this many years, whatever, if you have any notableness to you. Listen, for fitness boxing, I don't think you need to be a fighter. You don't have to be a fighter. You have to at least know how to properly teach, and you have to at least properly demonstrate. It's frustrating when you see a guy who can't do it try to tell you how to do it. You know what I mean? It's cool when the guy actually can demonstrate it. You know what I mean? Sometimes the trainers get old and yeah, they can't do it the way they used to, but at least they understand how to teach it. They can get you to do it. You know what I mean? But when you just got a guy who never did it and he doesn't know how to do it himself, it's just ridiculous to try to learn from this guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Have you done a video of how you say it, the art of cutting weight for a fight? Have you ever done that video, how to properly cut weight?
No, that's not something that I've done, and that's because I do know how to get a guy to cut weight, and I do know how to get a guy to lose weight if he just wants to lose weight for himself, general fitness. But that's kind of like a dangerous topic. So when it comes to the cutting weight thing, I'm just leaving that alone. That's something more that we do with our fighters when they come with us and they work with us. And a lot of times, a lot of these fighters are actually hiring outside experts in this because even a lot of professional boxing coaches been doing it the wrong way for many years. So that's something that I'm still educating myself more on. I know the basics to it, but I'm not gonna go ahead and put a video out on that right now, at least not at this point, because I know there's better ways and other ways that it can be done. And I don't like to give any information that I'm not
Okay.
1,000% that is the best information out. Like anything that I teach boxing wise, I'll go up against anybody. You bring Freddie Roach on the panel, and me and him could talk about the things I'm teaching. I'm that confident. You see what I'm saying when it comes to what I'm teaching. But if it's something like where a guy can come and pick me apart, I kind of just fall back like you got it. I don't want to even step into your lane. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't like to make believe I'm good at something that I'm not great at. You feel me?
All right. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hold on. Why was Canelo able to pressure Golovkin in the rematch when Golovkin has the heavier hands? Um, I just think it was a different game plan, and I just think that Canelo, boxing is a lot of hype. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say that Golovkin don't got the hands that he has because he obviously is not plenty of people out. But when you're a guy at the level of a Canelo, right? You're not intimidated by the things that maybe you and I may be intimidated because we've never reached that level. Do you feel what I'm saying on this one, Moonshine? Like it's like it's like somebody you're looking at somebody like they're a god when you're down here. But when they get into a room with other guys on the same level, they're looking at each other like peers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I just think that Canelo wasn't intimidated. He already fought him. He already knew what kind of power he had. He probably felt that he showed too much respect in the first fight. And his decision in the second fight was, I'm not going to move that much. I have to. The punches weren't hurt like they said it would. I was able to handle it. My defense is good. I'm gonna stand here. I know I'm faster. I know I'm sharper. I know I got better defense, so I can stand in the pocket a little bit longer. And that's the decision that he made. Now, don't get me wrong, both fights were fucking wired thin, and he could have lost either one of those fights depending on what you like more. You know what I'm saying? But the point of the fact of the matter is, I think Canelo's the sharper, the slicker, the better fighter in that aspect. I just think that his conditioning wasn't able to uphold in either fight to the level that he needed to completely dominate Triple G. Had his conditioning been stronger, for whatever reason, he's having an issue with his conditioning in a tough fight. I just think that that's the only thing that made him lack against Golovkin because when he was on point, when he decided to do what he wanted to, it almost seemed like he could do anything he wanted to do. But it seemed like when he started to come down a little bit is when Golovkin was able to get off and get his shit off, and he started to look tired. And you feel what I'm saying on this
No,
one?
I feel you. I think he used to have problems after the seventh, eighth round. He started winding down.
Still starting to wear down a little bit, and I just think that he wasn't able. And it's probably because he's throwing everything so hard that he's getting tired. You feel me? It's like when you throw them hard punches, whether they're hurting the guy or not, you're gassing yourself. And I just think that's Canelo's issue. He tries to be slick, but when he
Yeah.
tries to counter you, he's throwing a hard counter. It's not like just a sharp, fast punch like Floyd. It's more like he wants to knock you out. You know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
couldn't knock out Golovkin, and therefore he got tired.
I do think he did master the art of not wasting movement and punches now. Like any punches that he's thrown is with some type of conviction. Like he knows why he's throwing them type of punches. Like he's not wasting any punches. Do you see the same thing with Canelo Alvarez? He's not wasting movement. He's not wasting punches. Like if you look at the first fight with Golovkin, he was actually moving a lot. The second fight, he wasn't moving as much. Maybe it was the Mexican style type of fighting that he just wanted to go toe to toe. But even in the recent fights, he's not wasting a lot of movement. But It's like he's trapping you, but he's doing it in a smooth way, like he's not even trying. You know?
Yeah, I just think that that comes with experience. You learn your identity when you've been in as many big fights as Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He's been in very at this point he's pretty much a vet at this point. Um, you kind of know who you are. You know what you like to do. You know your defense. You trust your defense. You know what I'm saying? And when you trust your defense, it's a lot easier to stand there and just say, you know what, I'm gonna slip that or I'm gonna catch that. I ain't nothing. But when you don't know, see the first fight, he didn't know. He only went off the boogeyman perspective. And he used all that lateral movement and he was moving and moving and moving. I just think that after reanalyzing the fight, he was like, why the fuck was I moving that much? I didn't have to move that much. And I just think that when he settled down in the second fight and he seen he had a lot of success, he just carried that over to all his other fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's a fantasy fight? Who you have? Andre Ward, Canelo Alvarez, if they ever fight.
You know, it's hard for me to go against Andre Ward only because Andre Ward's a winner. And he reminds me like of just a different version of a Floyd Mayweather. Like he's not as pretty as Floyd when it comes to his boxing techniques and shit, but I just think that he knows how to fucking win a fight. And I just think that he would have made the necessary adjustments to beat Canelo. Now, Canelo, I think, does the craftier stuff, the more eye pleasing stuff. I prefer how Canelo does things over Andre Ward, but Andre Ward didn't know how to freaking win, and he fought all the good fighters in his weight class that you can ask him to fight.
Yeah, that tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's the natural 168 pounder his whole career, so he's not smaller than Canelo. So I just think that you have to give that to Andre Ward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that fight, man. He was one of my favorites, man. Andre was very
Yeah,
crafty.
I just think that Andre Ward just was just a little bit boring at times. You know what I mean? If you're looking for excitement,
Now when he shows up to the big fights, on the big fights like Chad Dawson fight, you know what I'm saying, or Kovalev, he shows up. Like if you look at the big fights, he shows up and he'll slug it out. He'll slug it out if he needs to. That's one thing about Andre Ward. He'll slug it out. He got that inside game. I love the jab to the solo plex. You know, I love when I see that on a fighter. Let's say when Javante Tank Davis, when I saw that on a fight, I'm like, all right, he got a lot of tools in his game. If you ever seen Javante Tank Davis in the amateurs, he got a lot of tools that I feel like he ain't even showing yet.
right. Yeah, no, Andre Ward. Oh, you talking about Tank?
Even Tank, yeah.
No, I like Tank Davis. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that him and Tevin got such a feud with each other because I personally like how Tank Davis fights. Um, I wish he would get tested a little bit more. I think that he's not fighting the people that he should be fighting. I think he should be fighting much tougher opposition. He's fighting a lot of smaller guys and stuff like that.
How about he's fighting 140, Mario Barrios? How you feel about that fight?
Mario Barrios. I don't know much about Mario Barrios. I just know that he's a 140 pounder. That's all I know. And I'm hearing that he's solid. I'm hearing that he's good. But I also know that Tank spars 165 pounders in the Mayweather gym, and I know that for a fact. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how intimidated he is by 140 pounders. Let's bring my man right here. Okay, somebody actually pulled up in here. Talk to me, man.
What's up? What's up, man? How you doing?
Cool, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was like, dang, let me just jump on. I was in the comments going crazy, trying to reply to everybody.
Okay, so what's up? What's on your mind?
Y'all talking about Tank. He actually said something real interesting. That you think that Tank has a lot of stuff in his bag that he hasn't pulled out yet. And I agree. So I've been watching Tank, and I've actually been to a few Tank fights from the amateurs. And I think what a lot of people don't realize in the pros that didn't watch him in the amateurs is that he's a box first, and he started knocking people out once he got to the pros. And I think he hasn't had to fully utilize his boxing ability yet. And I think people who think that he can't box or he's not slick is going to be in for a pleasant surprise once the time comes and he has to.
Yeah, facts. Like if you see him in the amateurs, he was outboxing people from the outside. He wasn't staying
Yeah.
in the inside. He wasn't staying like trying to slug it out. He was outboxing dudes from the outside using footwork like crazy.
Yeah, the only thing was he was a lot lighter fighter in the amateurs. I was surprised when he had trouble like making weight and things of that nature because he's fought as low as 114 only like a year or so before he turned pro, and then even 123. So it surprised me at the times that he don't make weight, but like he's really a dog. Like I've been in the gym when them two spar, when Shakur and him spar.
You from the Baltimore area?
No. Nah, I'm actually from Jersey area. I actually met you. I think no, you ain't seen me spar. I don't know if you seen me spar. I used to train with Reginald. I'll be going to TKO Cherry Hill.
Oh, okay. So you in the area? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what like when I said that Teofimo Lopez was gonna outbox Lomachenko, I wasn't studying what he did in the pros. I said that because what he was doing in the amateurs. So I saw how he's gonna outbox Lomachenko, but what he did in the amateurs. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, if they follow the young fighters, follow what they do in the amateurs because they fight in the top competitions in the amateurs. At the young,
Yeah, but
the
this
early.
is the problem. But this is the problem. This is the problem that I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here. The problem is this: you start fighting a certain way in the professional rankings, right? And you fall in love with your power. And then as you fall in love with your power, you get lazy. And as you get lazy, you stop doing the things that you used to do. For instance, like a guy like a Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia was a very slick boxer as well in the amateurs. Everybody will tell you that's how he got the name Swift. When he became a professional, he started knocking everybody out with the left hook. As he developed as a professional, he got away from being swift and he became more of that guy who throws the no-look hook. You feel me? So what happens with a guy like Tank is he's knocking everybody out, and that's due to the lack of competition. If he was competing at the level that he should be competing, he'd be forced to use those skills. But since he's not being forced, because even the guys with the big names, they're smaller. And if you've ever boxed before, you know when a guy's not your size, you don't have much to worry about. You just catch. If you look at a guy like Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner was fantastic at 126 pounds. He was beating the hell out of them guys, standing in the pocket, looking like the new Floyd.
Even at 130.
As soon as he went up in weight, what happened?
147.
He went to 147. He damn near lost every big fight that he was in. And the reason was he adopted a style that made him believe his own hype. And when you believe your own hype in this game, that's the beginning of the downfall. You have to remember that you have to do the things that got you to where you're at forever in this game. Because as soon as you get away from those things, that's when you start to decline. If, like Phil Jackson said, if you ain't getting better, you're getting worse. So Gervonta Davis has to make sure that he doesn't fall in love with the hype. And if he is such a good boxer the way you guys both say he is, he needs to revert back to that. Because it's only a matter of time till he bumps into a guy and he's going to need it. And since he hasn't used it enough, he's going to end up not being able to use it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, it's not that he can't pick it up, but if you haven't done it for a long time, or any sport, like, you're going to be a little bit rusty at it, right? If you haven't done it for a long time. So I think it's the same way with boxing. So it's really about what is he doing when he's sparring, right? It's what is he doing when he's sparring, and how much is he doing it when he's sparring? Because if he's not doing it consistently when he's sparring, then it's the same thing. If he's just walking down people, then it means nothing. I am interested.
You've seen it happen in a few just fights where he just kind of throws everything out the window and he's like, I'm going to walk your ass down and knock you the fuck out. And it's happened, it's worked. But there's going to be that guy that it doesn't work with. You feel me? And then when that day comes, what are you going to do then? So if I was his coach, if I was, I forget his coach's name, but if I was his coach.
Calvin
Ford. I would make sure that I know it's hard because I've worked with guys who get to that level. And when they get to a level, it's hard to talk to them after a while because they think they got there They know what they're doing. They don't need to listen to nobody, right? That's kind of like the shit that haunts fighters when they start to win. And I can understand if maybe he tries to do that, and maybe Gervonta's like, man, whatever, man, I got this. You feel me? And if that's the case, it's hard. But if I was Ford, I would be like, listen, dude, we got to get back to using our jab. We got to get back to using our footwork. We got to, we're boxing at a different level now. You're going to be fighting guys that are fucking top tier. No more easy shit. We need to fucking focus. You feel me? And not making weight is a sign of losing focus. Not fucking, using your jab in boxing is a sign of losing focus. He shows signs of an undisciplined fighter, even though he could fight his ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what.
just. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I'm interested to see what happens with this Marios Barrios fight. I'm definitely looking to see exactly what strategy they use and what style of boxing he takes for this fight. Because I know you were saying Barrios is a solid dude, or Coach Anthony, you were saying you heard that he's solid, but you never really seen him fight too much. Like he's solid and he's in a good camp and he gets a lot of good sparring and good experiences, and he's a taller fighter. So I'm interested in seeing what approach he takes, but he's also really susceptible to getting hit with the big shots that Tank throws. So is Tank's power going to translate at 140 is I think really going to be the question, because I don't think it'll be a matter of can he get inside. I think he's slick enough defensively to find ways inside.
Yeah, I do think that this fight that he's gonna do what he did in the amateurs. I think he's gonna show people, you know, what they
We
haven't
might
seen.
have to. We might have to, because if he's fighting a bigger guy, and this guy is, like you guys say, a solid fighter, then he's gonna have to pull out the bag of chips and be elusive and use his jab and his speed. Speed's gonna be a big factor for Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, yeah, I think in this fight, it's more so than speed. I think it's going to be timing, right? Because as a fighter, as somebody, I know you be boxing, you spar, like between speed and timing is completely different. And I think a lot of people don't really know the difference between the two. I think for him, timing is going to be key, because like you was talking about with like Floyd and Logan Paul, like it's not going to be a problem for Floyd with Logan Paul because it's such a difference in level. Logan Paul is so green, but when you have such a size advantage at this level, Barrios can possibly do some things to minimize his speed with the reach and the height. So I'm interested to see if his timing is going to kick in, and if he's going to do kind of what you said earlier, which is stay inside and stay close to smother some of the punches and smother some of the power and use the shorter arms to take advantage.
Right. Yo, Kenyon, I'm saying your name right, Kenyon?
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. Are you still training at TKO?
Nah, so I actually stopped boxing a while ago. I won New Jersey Golden Gloves like 5 times. I won Northeast Regionals. So I was fighting for like 10 years. Me and Shakur had the same trainer because I'm from Newark, really. So we had the same trainer for a long time in Wally, but I stopped boxing a while ago. Injuries and old age.
Man, I'm trying to remember when I met you, man. I'm trying to remember.
It was in the gym. It was like one random time. You was working with Tev. Y'all was in the gym at TKO. I just came out of nowhere. I sparred for a couple rounds and then I kept it moving. Like,
okay.
It's nothing crazy.
My brother, I want to thank you for coming in and chiming in, man. And shoot me a DM on Instagram so I can make sure I keep up with you and shit.
Oh no, word up. I got you.
Man, I appreciate you, my brother.
All right. Look.
See, that was dope. That was dope, ladies and gentlemen. He came in, he knew his boxing, he chopped it up with us. He wasn't scared to show his face. Listen, guys, we regular people, right? We love boxing, and don't be scared to get in here and chop it up with us, man. So what you thought about some of his comments?
I mean, it was right on the money. To be honest, it was right on the money with Gervonta Davis, and I understand exactly what you were saying as well. And I was gonna piggyback off what you were saying, because this is why I like the way they moving Shakur Stevenson. See, they're not moving him just stacking his resume. They moving him quick, and I think moving him the way that they moving him, he's not gonna fall in love with the aura, whatever they're gonna tag him with. Because look, he became a world champion in 12 fights. T.O. became a champion at 15 fights. So it's not like they doing the stacking up the resume for 20 plus fights, and then now you got to custom and fighting, knocking people out, forgetting your fundamentals. And I think that there's certain young fighters that they moving them well. I think they moving Keyshawn Davis. I think they're gonna move him quick and they're gonna move him well. Um, but there's other fighters where, well, I love Boots Ennis, but he's what, 28, 27 knockouts, something like that, and he just got his first test with Sergey Lipinyak. Passed with flying colors, but at this point, his skill set, it needs to be he needs to be in there with top level competition. And I know he been trying to. He already had that promotional settlement, lawsuit settlement with his promotional. So I think he's gonna be good. Now he's gonna get the type of fights that I think that he deserves. But now with Boots Ennis and his skill set, I think they just need a top 10 level competition. That's it.
Yeah, nah, hold on, I'm just checking something real quick.
But yeah, guys like
Listen,
Virgil Ortiz.
Boots Ennis, man. I mean, everybody knows in the area. I'm fortunate to be in, one of the prestigious boxing areas of the United States of America. And Boots Ennis,
I.
you know what I'm saying? This is like boxing Harvard on this side of town. You feel me? But Boots Ennis, everybody in the area knows he's the truth. And this is a hard area to get your respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not good in the Philadelphia area, they gonna shit on you. They gonna be like, man, that motherfucker ass. We don't give a shit if he's 12-0, 15-0, 20-0. That motherfucker can't fight. That motherfucker can't coach. Now, you know what I'm saying? People are hard out here. People say motherfuckers who are good suck out here. You know what I'm saying? So this is a hard area to get your props. But at the end of the day, everybody gives Boots his props, and it's because the kid's really a good fighter. The kid really could fight, at all levels. So
and Boozy, his father's a teacher.
Yeah, I mean, his father's a fantastic teacher / fighter / everything. I mean, Boots' dad get in the ring right now and whoop a 30-year-old ass right now. You feel me?
I think so. I think so.
It's a fact.
Shout out to Boozy.
Yeah, big shout out to Boozy. I got a lot of respect for Boozy. Me and Boozy see each other at the amateur shows all the time. When I used to bring my kids actually fought a few of his kids, and we got wins and losses against his kids. But Boozy's a hell of a guy. He loves the game, it's just one of those things where Boots just soaked up all that freaking knowledge, man, over the years from his two brothers. You got, both his brothers are fantastic fighters. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you got his brothers, and you have his father, and you have Philadelphia, and you have just natural athleticism, and you were just born for this shit. So he's definitely the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
So is it premature? Because I stated a lot of people thought I was crazy. They were trying to take my boxing card away. Coach, I said that he could be the next Roy Jones Jr. or 4-5 division world champion.
Damn.
Yo,
I mean, listen, those are hard shoes to fill. Those are hard shoes to fill. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on, real quick.
That's just how special I see him, though.
Listen, real quick, guys, don't forget to go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. The CA Power Hour is 75% off of all my courses. I'm basically doing Black Friday, and it ain't Black Friday. I just have to remind y'all if y'all been rocking with me, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to Boots and Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones, I don't know if there's a fighter of this era that can ever fill those shoes, and the reason I say that, it's just a different time. Like, the guys today, it's so hard to compare them to the guys like the Roy Joneses and the James Tonys. I mean, you're talking about the golden era. That's the golden era. It's like, it kind of reminds me of hip hop, right? And I use this analogy all the time. In the 90s, right? Early 2000s, late 90s. When we used to listen to the old school rappers like the fucking, the Marley Marls and them motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
And you listen to Nas, you can hear the upgraded version of rap. You can hear like how rappers got better in the 90s. Even if you was an old school motherfucker and you was like, yo, I like
OD.
better. You still couldn't deny that the lyrics were better. You couldn't deny that the beats were better. You couldn't deny everything. As time evolved, the rappers from today are not lyrically as good as the rappers from the late 90s and the 2000s. Now, you might like the music better because you're younger and your eardrums are different and you like that singing melody type shit that guys are doing nowadays, and that's cool. But lyrically, if I was to bring a Nas record out and bring it to 95% of the rappers today, don't get me wrong, you got some good ones still, but most of
Ain't
the
nobody
guys,
better than Nas, man. He's the king.
yeah, that's a fact. Now, Nas will destroy them. Why? He was in the golden era. Biggie, golden era. Jay-Z, golden era. These are the golden era rappers. Just like the South had their golden era. They had T.I., they had Lil Wayne, they had Jeezy. That was like 2008. That was their golden era. Boxing's golden era was the era of Roy Jones Jr., James Toney, Mike McCollum, these type of guys. And then an era right before that, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Hagglers, and then, of course, the late, Floyd Mayweather carried the torch from that era to this era. But this era has not produced yet what those era has produced as far as anybody. There's nobody from this era other than maybe Canelo and maybe like a Tyson Fury, you know what I'm saying, that I can say these guys are from that cloth. Not yet. You feel me? Not yet. I can't say that about Danny Garcia. I can't say that about Errol Spence. I can't even say that about Terence Crawford yet.
Manny Pacquiao?
I can't say Manny Pacquiao, but he's from that era. He's from the golden era, and he's still fucking guys up in this era.
How about Chocolatito?
No, I don't. I think he's good. I don't think he's that. I think he's good, but I don't think he's that. But then again, he's a really small weight class, and it's not the same. Like, I don't even really look at those guys. No disrespect. Like, for me, it's like 126 and up. You feel me?
It's like midget.
Yeah, like I mean, no disrespect. I just don't even know. I know in history there's a lot of guys I don't know from that weight class. But when we're talking about the golden era fighters, these guys of today are not proven that they are capable of being compared to those guys. Now, you can compare those guys from the 90s to the guys from the 80s, though. You can compare Oscar De La Hoya to Sugar Ray Leonard. You can compare Floyd Mayweather to Sugar Ray Leonard. You can compare those type of guys. But I can't compare Terence Crawford to Sugar Ray Leonard. I can't compare Terence Crawford to Floyd Mayweather. They're just not fighting the same level of opposition. It's just, unfortunately, boxing has become such a business that back then it was about who was the best. Now it's about getting that money. And these guys are good. They're not bums, but it's just the way the game is being played. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure other people might feel differently, but I just feel like I can't compare none of these guys to those guys. You feel me? And unfortunately, Boots falls into the category of I can't compare you to Roy Jones Jr. because who have you fought, Boots? No disrespect. Boots will whoop my ass right now. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm not comparing. I'm actually.
But my thing is, Boots, who have you fought for us to say you're the next Roy Jones? Like, Roy Jones fought everybody at that time. People forgot. Like, you must have forgot. Like, Roy Jones is that dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's 23 years old. And I just think eyesight, you know what I'm saying? If you want to prematurely, compare somebody, that's why I compare him. Like,
that's a super premature.
Well, damn it, let me have my phone more premature, man. Man.
That's a super premature. Now, don't get me wrong, Boots is a bad.
But I don't say that with nobody though. I don't compare it. I just see that you.
I mean, you're better off saying that about Terence Crawford, honestly, because he's at least fought somebody.
Nah, you know why? Because Terence Crawford's 33 years old.
Yeah, but Terence Crawford has shown no signs of deterioration. You can say, like, if he was to get opportunities, like, he's got a chance to be that great. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boots, to me, it's like, Boots is just so in the beginning stages right now. Like, even his last opponent was a bigger name, good name, solid name, but I just feel like he was too little. I feel like he was, a shell of himself.
So he's ready for Earl Spence.
No,
He's
I
ready
think,
for.
I mean, I thought
Think
Boots,
about it.
I think Boots was ready for Errol Spence
I think so
before
too.
he fought his most recent fight because I know how skillful and how tough and rugged this kid could be. But what I am saying is, I'm not gonna go off that last victory as proof that he's ready for these guys. He still needs to fight somebody with a better challenge than that. And don't get me wrong, he might have made it look easy, but I just feel like the guy was a shell of himself. I think he's smaller, right? Like he naturally
Came
wasn't
from 140.
140-pound guy. I mean, that's not a big difference, but it's big enough when you're a big ass welterweight like Boots. Boots arguably could go to 54 and be fucking still reasonably.
But that's what I said because he's a big 147. So I see that he's gonna be like, there's certain fighters that you see that they're not gonna be multi division world champions. But Boots Ennis is a big 147 where I could see him winning a title at 147. I could see him winning a title at 154. I could see him winning a title at 160. Now 168, 175. By the time he probably hit 30, if everything going well, I do see him like a 5-division world champion.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just because of the limited. Like, who's at 54? I mean, who's at 54?
Jamal Charlo, Lara. No, Lara's now in 160. You got Hurd. He should be in 160 anyway. Castaño, Jason Rosario, J Rock.
I think Boots is good. I just think unfortunately he was born in a time where I don't think that he'll ever get compared to those kind of names. Unfortunately, that's just my personal opinion. I just think that unfortunately he's a great fighter in a weak era that he, even if he does win those divisions the way you're saying he can, which I believe he can too, based off the names you just said, I still wouldn't be able to say he's Roy Jones.
Is it a weak era or there's certain divisions that are weak? Is it a weak era or there's certain divisions that are weak?
I think it's a weak era because of, all right, how do I say this in a way where I'm not offending nobody? I think this is a weak era because we're smarter now.
Oh, so
I think that this is the thing. Fighters back in the day were taken advantage of.
Yeah.
The promoters and everybody were just completely bleeding these fighters. They were fighting a bunch. They were making little fucking money. They were sold the dream. You got to fight, you know what I'm saying, and leave it all. And don't get me wrong. It was great for us as fight fans. We benefited. You feel me? We benefited. But as fighters got smarter, as social media became a thing, guys are taking less chances. Guys are picking more of their fights. Guys are avoiding guys more. I mean, it's just not the same kind of competition. You might have lost to a bum back in the day. You ain't going to lose to these bums today. You're going to beat the hell out of these bums because you're going to be that much better than these guys. Back in the day, a guy with a 50-50 record like an Emmanuel Augustus will fuck around and beat you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I do agree with brother that Eddie 2017. I don't think we will appreciate this ever until it is past. It's like when they say, I'm gonna give you an example. They say that nobody's fighting nobody. Let's just take the welterweight division for a second. They said nobody's fighting nobody. Did Earl Spence fight Kell Brook when Kell Brook was on top of the welterweight chain? Yeah. Did Keith Thurman fight Sean Porter? Did Sean Porter fight Daniel Garcia? Did Daniel Garcia fought Thurman and Sean Porter?
Okay. I see what you're saying. They're fighting each other. But if I was to envision in my brain, okay, Errol Spence fighting Sugar Ray Leonard, who wins, in your opinion? I don't know how much of a boxing historian you are. But if
I'll pick Sugar Ray Leonard because the tools in the toolbox.
Okay. And we was to put Danny Garcia against Thomas Hearns. Who wins?
I say Thomas Hearns.
Okay. If we was to put
But with that, I think we robotically think that
if we was to put Terence Crawford against Oscar De La Hoya, who wins?
That's a tough one.
But I'm just saying, if you had to put your money on it, a prime Oscar.
My heart would say Oscar. My heart would say
Oscar was a proven guy.
Yeah.
We're still unsure. You said it earlier. You're not sure. Like Terence, who has Terence fought? Oscar De La Hoya fought. They probably argued the best resume in boxing. Okay, so for us to say Terence Crawford could beat Oscar De La Hoya is disrespectful to the history because Oscar De La Hoya fought everybody and they fucking mother.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford hasn't even fought Errol Spence yet. So if you mean to tell me you think Errol Spence will dominate Oscar De La Hoya in his prime?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so.
So my
but also that.
So my point, I'm gonna let you go on. But my point is this: when you think about the golden era, like Oscar De La Hoya era, Sugar Ray Leonard era, these motherfuckers are the top of the food chain. These new guys, I can't envision, and I'm not being disrespectful to these guys. I can't envision Danny Garcia, who's considered a top welterweight, beating anybody in the golden era. I can't envision fucking Errol Spence beating any of the greats in the golden era. He might beat some of the contenders, but I don't see him beating any of the greats. I don't see him beating Sugar Ray. I don't see him beating Floyd Mayweather in his prime. I don't see him beating Oscar De La Hoya. I don't see him beating these guys. I just can't see it. Like, and I know boxing. I'm trying to put everything in my head, the puzzle together. I'm like, just don't see it. But I could have seen when Floyd Mayweather was in his prime. I can see how he could beat some of the guys from the 80s because Floyd Mayweather was that fucking good.
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're saying, but don't you think that we're also trained to never really appreciate the real present? Even in the NBA, they're still they'll still saying they will say that LeBron James ain't better than Michael Jordan, or this center is not better than this other center, or whatever, because we're just conditioned to always hold the past as the elite of the elites. It's like when we talk about the Hearns, Hagler, but if you look at their resume, it's not like Roberto Duran was fighting Leonard and then Leonard, Duran, then Leonard, Hearn, then Leonard. Like, they was fighting in between fights also. Like, it's just not they all fought each other at the same time.
Look,
and I think now
look, Manny Pacquiao. It's a perfect example of this shit. Manny Pacquiao was fighting in the golden era. Fought all the way through. And when I say the golden, I said there was numerous golden eras. You had the 80s golden era, you had the late 90s golden eras, and early 2000s golden era. Pacquiao fought the early 2000s golden era with the Marco Barreras, the Eric Moraleses, and them type of guys, right?
Yeah.
Now, he fights, he goes through wars, he gets knocked out in the whole nine. So he's gotten the punishment, he's gotten his ass beat, but he's an elite from the golden era. Manny Pacquiao can go to any era and be competitive. We can all come to agreement on that. He fights the hottest fucking welterweight in Keith Thurman at the time and beats that motherfucker, man. And this is a show of Manny Pacquiao. This is a show. At that time, anybody in this chat who wants to disagree, they're lying through their teeth if they don't say that they didn't think Keith Thurman was the truth. And Keith Thurman at that time was the truth. And not only that, he was in his prime, he was young, he was undefeated, and he was being compared. People were saying he should fight Floyd Mayweather. This nigga fights an old Manny Pacquiao, gets put on his ass, and loses, to a shell of Manny Pacquiao, not a fucking prime Manny Pacquiao.
But a lot of people did feel that Keith Thurman was a shell of himself after the 2-year layoff.
Come on, bro. We're gonna say a young man is a shell of himself compared to an old man. This is an old man beating up a young boy, and this is my thing. You're getting an old version of Pacquiao. You're not getting the Manny Pacquiao who fucking was beating these motherfuckers, dominating motherfuckers like Ricky Hatton, knocking these motherfuckers out, beating the shit out of Antonio Margarito, beating Sugar Shane Mosley, beating all these guys, beating them to a pulp. These guys are special. These new guys, none of them are special.
But how many Manny Pacquiao is there?
That's what I'm trying to say.
So we can't.
So that's what I'm trying to say. The golden era had multiple specials. The golden era had multiple specials. You had Pernell Whitaker in the same fucking era as Oscar De La Hoya. You had Floyd Mayweather in the same era as Oscar De La Hoya. Not only that, Floyd Mayweather in the same era of so many fighters. I can't even fucking think right now because I'm rambling. Right? You had Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, Aaron Pryor, all in the same fucking era. These new guys, you might have one. You might have one. You got Canelo. You got Tyson Fury. You got who else you got? Like, who is really capable?
I mean, no, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. But I do think that it's like, okay, Tito Trinidad. I think Tito Trinidad will lose to Keith Thurman, a prime Keith Thurman. I think a Tito Trinidad will lose to a Earl Spence. I think a Tito Trinidad will lose to a Bud Crawford.
Yeah,
but he's a legend.
Yeah, but you notice I didn't bring his name up.
But that's what I was trying to say. That I'm like, you're naming all-time special greats.
Trinidad's the reason I put on a pair of boxing gloves. Let's not get it twisted. I'm Puerto Rican. He's the reason I put a pair of boxing gloves on. When he fought Bernard Hopkins, I didn't know boxing the way I know it now. I was rooting for. I swore that Tito was gonna knock out Bernard Hopkins because I was only basing it off emotion. I wasn't basing it off data. Then Bernard Hopkins went ahead and took this motherfucker to school, right? Yeah. Broke him down, beat him up, knocked him out. Game over. I learned a lesson that day to stop going with emotion and go off of data. Guys like Bernard Hopkins, special. Guys like Bernard Hopkins, special. Guys like Roy Jones Jr., special. Guys like James Toney, special. Guys like Mike McCallum, special. I mean, these guys all fought in the same fucking era, man. These guys are Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, all in the same era as Roy Jones Jr. and all these other guys that I just named a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
You can't compare that era to this era. It's not even comparable, dog. Like, it's such different levels. Like, you got guys now, they're good. But none of them you can really say is like, wow, he's great. And those eras, you could say those motherfuckers were great. That's the difference, bro.
I think that there's the names that we're talking about, but when we're talking about eras, it's the other guys that are not great because they built their resume of those other guys that's not great. So we're naming special. We're naming all-time greats. We can't mention these guys as all-time greats yet. You know what I'm saying? They just in their prime right now. So we can't mention them as, oh, we don't know what happens when they retire. We're comparing cemented legacies to guys that's just entering their prime or in their prime right now. So I think it's hard because if you
back then these guys used to beat guys who had cemented legacies all the time. So it was a little easier to make that judgment call. Like when Roy Jones beat who's the dude that he beat with the body shot, man? Fuck, man. Sometimes when I'm doing these things, I forget off the top of my head these names, man. Oh man, I gotta go on box right now, but this shit gonna bother me. But he beat a kid. He beat a guy who had a cemented legacy. Back in the day, they used to beat guys with cemented legacies all the time, and that's how the torch would get passed. You feel me? Nowadays, these guys are winning belts, and you don't even know who the fuck they beat for the belt. And then they're fighting and defending the belt against guys you don't know who the hell they're even defending against. And then when it's time to fight the top guys, there's fucking political reasons on why they're not fighting each other. It's just a different game. Back then, these guys fought each other. You had to beat the champion. You beat the champion, and now you're the champion. Then you had to unify the belts. And then you rocked at your weight class for a while and proved that you're the best as guys came to your weight class. Now these guys are jump weight classes, and then they'll say, oh, well, I'm a 5-time division champion, but they didn't even clear out their division. They just moved on. Guys like Canelo didn't clear out the division, even though I think Canelo's a great fighter. How come he didn't fight Bubu Andrade? How come he didn't fight the Charlos? How come these other guys that he fought that didn't deserve it, when those guys did at the time that they deserved it, he jumped the weight class to do it. Like,
could we say the same thing for Floyd and Manny Pacquiao? None of them never came undisputed. So did they ever clear out a whole division?
I have to go on my history and look. I think Manny Pacquiao did a hell of a job clearing out the division. I think if anybody started this trend was Floyd Mayweather, of like kind of like manipulating how he moved a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you could say a little bit of that for Roy Jones too. I remember people used to criticize Roy Jones back in the day, but you know,
they criticized Roy Jones Jr. They said that he didn't fight nobody when he already beat Hopkins and James Toney.
Virgil Hill. Thank you, my man right here. Thank you, Virgil Hill. So Virgil Hill was a fucking fantastic fighter, and Roy Jones beat him. So like, and beat him, stopped him with the body shot. Like, now, my thing is like, if you go through a lot of these guys, fucking these histories of these fighters, man, you'll see like back then, they fought each other. They fought each other more than once. That they did. Like, think about James Toney and Mike McCollum. They fought what, 3 times or 2 times? You know what I'm saying? Like, 2 top tier guys fighting each other. Evander Holyfield fought Ray Bowe 3 times in a row. Top tier guys fighting each other consistently. And, you know, it's just like, I just think that back then, guys really fought for glory. And what happened was, over the years, guys learned that glory shit, you know, doesn't mean shit when you're fucking brain dead. Right? You fought, now you ain't fucking able to move the way you used to. You didn't make enough money or whatever. And these new guys are like, nah, I'm not doing that. But I'm fighting him. I'll fight him for 10 million, nigga. I ain't fighting him.
But I also think that fans also has some type of responsibility, because when these guys are actually fighting people, they still not getting their just due. So if they're not even gonna get their just due, why keep on fighting these type of fights?
No, listen, I got no problem with these young guys, how they're moving. Listen, I love it. And I got no problem with these guys picking their fights and making as much money as possible. I want them to. But what I'm saying is, this is the trade-off. You're going to make the money. You're going to have your brains at the end of your career. But you're not going to get compared to Roy Jones. You're not going to get compared to Sugar Ray Leonard. You're not going to get compared to Floyd Mayweather. Which one would you rather have? Would you rather have the glory, or do you want to have the longevity career with the money? Make your decision. But at the end of the day, if you want to go both routes, then you got to do what them guys did. You got to fight as much as those guys did. You got to fight the levels that those guys did. Those guys traded off the money and the longevity for the glory. That's why most of those motherfuckers are broke right now. Only a few got out easy. It's like the drug game. Only a few can make it out and say, I'm not in prison for the rest of my life or dead. It's only a small percentage. Most of those guys are dead in jail. The same thing with boxing. Most of those guys are broke, have brain trauma, you know what I'm saying? Don't have nothing to show for all that hard work. And now these new guys, they get all the glories of the fruits of the labor, but you don't get the glory the same way as those guys. You can't want it both, dog. You can't avoid fights and be smart with your career and then want to get compared to fucking Sugar Ray Leonard.
But don't you think we also doing it's also a disservice when the guys are fighting top guys in their own era, but then when they beat the top guys in their own era, they're gonna come with, but you ain't this guy, this all great guy. You're not Pernell Whitaker, but they're fighting the best in their era. There's certain fighters now, they are fighting the best of their eras. You know what I'm saying? But they still gonna get criticized. They still
yeah, but my point is like you just have to say, well, unfortunately, this is the era I was born in. It's
okay.
like this.
All right, it's almost okay. You got. All right, look at the 5 fighters around that time. Well, Fred Benitez, that's people that are recognizable. People talk about. Well, Fred Benitez, Leonard, Duran, Hearn, Hagler. Okay, now name me the other fighters that they beat.
Who?
Those 5 names, right?
Oh, I'm not. Listen, I'm not.
No, I'm not saying like just trying to put you on the spot. I'm saying
no. The truth of the fact of the matter is, I'm not a historian to give you those names right off the top of my head like that. But the truth of the fact of the matter is, I know even from when I grew up watching boxing, which was 97 to now, and I just see just the skill level, the things that are being done fundamentally, the competition in fights, like a Barrera Eric Morales fight, bro.
Yeah.
That trilogy, you tell me a fucking trilogy like that today. Of motherfucking 2 guys at the top of their game who fought 3 times in a row. That wasn't that long ago. That was like in 2000. Mm-hmm. These motherfuckers was, bro, both of those motherfuckers could fight. Eric Morales damn near beat Danny Garcia the first fucking fight, and he was washed up, shot, done. Mm-hmm. And he fucking damn near beat Danny Garcia the first fight. Now, of course, you saw what happened the second fight. Eric Morales beat Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was just coming up, was just beat Barrera, and Eric Morales was already coming down, was already on the come down, and he beat Manny Pacquiao. So, like, what I'm trying to say is, there's just a different level, man. It's just a different level. And I know that you guys don't want to hear it. It's like this. For instance, you're from New York City. Mm-hmm. You can't compare Harlem today to Harlem back in the day.
No, facts.
Like, I remember you used to go to Harlem. Listen, I'm from Queens, and I don't want to make this a street thing, but I used to come through to Harlem to get, some smoke. I used to smoke when I was young. As soon as I crossed the bridge, I didn't even make it damn near off the ramp. Motherfucking Dominicans roll up next to me. What you need? Mm-hmm. You could buy a kilo in a fucking pizzeria. Mm-hmm. You go down the street, hundreds of people outside. Everybody's getting money. Everybody's doing this, doing that. Go to Harlem now, there's a fucking Starbucks in the corner.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, right? It's gentrified. Mm-hmm. So imagine going to Harlem and trying to tell these young kids, like, yo, man, you don't know nothing about my era. And they're like, man, get out of here, old head. You just saying that because you just stuck in the past. Mm-hmm. No, it's not stuck in the past. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Harlem is totally different back in the day than it is today.
Facts.
So boxing was totally different back in the day than it is today. The level of skills are different. The guys from back then are better than the guys from today skillfully. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe with the strength and conditioning. And if you get a right student, kids from today could be better because you got older people teaching them shit. And if they're good listeners, they'll soak it all in and do it. That's why I feel like Boots Ennis is dominating. You want to know why Boots Ennis is dominating? Because he's learning from his father.
Yeah.
He's 60-something years old. What era did his father come from?
The golden era.
The golden era. He not learning from one of these modern day guys who wasn't around the GOATs. He's learning from the golden era.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. And as you can see, he dominates. Floyd Mayweather, his father, his uncle. Mm-hmm. Golden era. Floyd Mayweather was golden era in disguise of a motherfucking millennial. This is what Floyd Mayweather was. When Floyd Mayweather was beating up Frankie Randall, right after Frankie Randall beat Julio Cesar Chavez, he was beating him up in the gym. He was 17. He talks about it in the interview. Now, that goes to tell you the level of greatness that Floyd Mayweather's been. But you know what Floyd Mayweather does? Before he became Money Mayweather, he was pretty boy Floyd. Got the fade, soft face, doesn't look like a killer. He was well spoken. He was in disguise. Then he goes ahead, he dominates. Then he goes to Money Mayweather. He shows off the flamboyant lifestyle. He's drinking a Pepsi after he hits the heavy bag. He's hitting the mitts like this, right? Where a lot of trainers will say this shit is ineffective. But when he gets in the ring, he's a dog. He's a fucking dog, and he's the most skilled fighter that we might have seen in this era. He was in disguise. He's presenting you one thing, and then when you get into the ring with him is a totally different experience. And you're like, what the fuck is this? He looks so beatable. But he's not from this era. He's from that era, and he's beating up guys in this era, if that makes sense.
No, yo, I agree 100% with you. I think when we have this conversation is how can we still have an interest for this era if we're so vocal about the other era, and this era have nothing that's comparable to the other era? How can we stay interested in boxing if it's not even comparable?
Well, no, boxing is still interesting. And honestly, right now, boxing is actually doing really well. I like boxing right now. I think there's a lot of interesting fights. I think there's a lot of up and coming guys that are good. And listen, it can make a turn at any point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I don't want to get it messed up. I'm not saying that this era can't, or an era of the near future can't be better than the eras that we consider the golden eras. I'm only speaking of what I've seen up to date. Mm-hmm. Up to date, I'm only speaking of what I have the data on. The data is these guys, unfortunately, have not proven that they are capable of being in the same conversation of the golden era. But things might change. Promoters might make better fights happen. Guys might have to step their game up and elevate. Guys might not be mismatched so much to where they're fighting a smaller guy with a big name. Now they're beating up a big name, but the guy's smaller. So now you're like, well, he just beat a former 3-time world champion. Yeah, the fucking guy was 2 divisions smaller when he was a 3-time world champion. And now he's beating him up, and you acting like he did something. Like, we can't use these tricks all the time, you know what I mean, and expect that shit to like translate over to the guys who really had to fight the best when they were at their best. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is why I do praise the guys that's actually out there challenging themselves. That's why I do, like me personally, that's why I give all credit to Canelo Alvarez. This is why I give all credit to what Teofimo Lopez did. This is why I give credit to the Oscar Valdez being the Miguel Burchett. That's why I give credit to Chocolatito and Estrada. Ioka beating Tanaka. You know? And I think more if people give it up to the people that's actually challenging themselves, you know, instead of saying, Devin Haney. Devin Haney hasn't done nothing. You can't even compare Devin Haney to Teofimo Lopez right now.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know?
But right now, if I talk to any 21-year-old kid, you know, like Devin Haney, you probably beat fucking, you know, Oscar De La Hoya or some shit. I mean, like, you don't fuck, like, it's like, even if he is skillfully better than guys from the golden era, you have not done anything yet to prove it. Like, I think Terence Crawford is arguably one of the most dangerous guys in any era, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, you're not even fighting Arrow yet. Like, how do I know? You haven't fought Sean Porter. You haven't fought Keith Thurman. But everybody holding you on this freaking pedestal. But who have you fought? Gamboa? Gamboa was small and a shell of himself. Gamboa was small and a shell. And the boy who Manny Pacquiao got robbed against? Come on, man. Like, who did he beat? Who did Jeff Horn beat besides a robbery versus Manny Pacquiao? Can you name anybody else? Because I can't. So my thing is, that's the problem with the current era. I hate to take away from these guys because these guys are good. I'm not saying that they're not capable. What I'm saying is, what have they done to be in the same conversation as those guys? I haven't seen anything as of yet. So other than Canelo. You can do that with Canelo, though.
Yeah.
You could do that with Canelo. You could do that with, like, Tyson Fury because he beat Klitschko. And he beat Deontay Wilder. and whatever. And, those are the two guys of the division at the moment. And Klitschko dominated for years. He never gets brought up in the conversation as one of the greatest heavyweights, which he should.
Yeah.
He should, because in reality, he had one of the best runs in heavyweight history.
Yeah,
he beat some big fucking names too along the way. So why don't we talk about Klitschko more often when we bring up greats? You feel me? But my thing is, that's the truth. You know what I mean?
I feel you, man.
But don't get me wrong, man. The new guys could fight. They could fight. It's just, I just think the political shit is what's making it hard for these guys to get the recognition that they deserve. And it's like, if you want the recognition you deserve, sometimes you got to go to the trenches with it. And if you don't go to the trenches with it, then you just got to take the money and go. It's like a guy who chooses the money over the authenticity, but he makes the right decision though, right? Like the right decision is get the money. Mm-hmm. And everybody in his circle will agree. Yeah, man, get the money. Who cares what they say? Fuck the haters.
Yeah.
But now everybody who went through the trenches, who chose the trenches, you can't compare the guy who gets the money to the trenches no more. Sorry, brother. You took a different route. You took the get the money route. So therefore, you can't even act like you can be conversed with those type of guys. Those guys are playing a different game than you're playing. It's like apples and oranges.
I agree. I agree. But in the end of the day, it's still our era, and I'm gonna preserve our era.
How old are you?
36.
So you from the same era I'm from?
Yeah.
So this is all our era. Like, listen, I've been around.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather, what I'm saying, because I know the past. But
so if you've been alive as long as I have, basically, then you should have been for both eras, unless you just started watching boxing 5 years ago or something. See, I've been watching boxing this whole time. So I'm comparing it based on my memory and based off of what I'm currently seeing.
Man, I was a Frankie Randall fan.
Okay. So you should know that this era, unfortunately, can't be compared to that era. Yet.
No, because that's what I'm saying. It's hard to compare cement the legacy because that's in our heads. Even in other sports. Even I'll pick a baseball player, you know what I'm saying? This guy is better than the guy that's right now, but because my mind is with the past. I'm not trying to give this guy a chance. I'm not trying to say that this guy is actually better than the other guy because I just grew up watching. I can't say that Stephen Curry is a better three-point shooter than Ray Allen or Reggie Miller. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still stuck on that. But I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that it's comparable because of competition and the way that we already know how it is in the sport of boxing. But there's just certain divisions where they are actually fighting each other, and that's why I was talking about the welterweight division, because the only ones that's not fighting nobody is actually Bud Crawford, but everybody else is fighting each other.
Me as a boxing coach, my goal is always to try to study the best fighters that I can study, so I can pass on some stuff that I want to either teach a new fighter or possibly learn from. Right? I watch these new guys. I watch the best new guys that I can possibly watch. I don't watch them all. But the biggest names, I'm watching. Like, I'll be watching Devin Haney tomorrow. I'll be watching, any big fight that comes up. There is no new guy that I can possibly say, other than Canelo Alvarez, that I will watch to learn something from. You hear what I'm saying? But I can pull up Sugar Ray Leonard today and still learn something from that motherfucker. I could pull up Floyd Mayweather and still learn something from Floyd Mayweather. I could pull up guys like that and learn, see techniques that aren't even being used anymore.
Henry Hank, that's one of my favorite fighters.
I watch Errol Spence, no disrespect, I learned nothing.
Not me either.
You feel me? I watch Terence Crawford. The only thing I learned is that he seems to win, but there's nothing there that I'm like, amazing. Oh my God. Now Canelo, I learned shit because Canelo actually does shit. You know what I mean? And Canelo is only doing things that the older fighters already been doing. When you see Canelo do all of this shit, slip and drop, pull up any James Toney fucking fight that you want to see, and you'll see that shit done to perfection.
Yeah.
Pull up
body
any
movement.
Floyd Mayweather fight, and you'll see it done to perfection. And then you go back and watch Canelo do it and say, Canelo looks like a watered down version of that. All you got to do is use your own eyes. I don't have to lie to you. Watch a Canelo film and then pull up a James Toney film. And then do the comparison of the defensive moves being executed. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is if I can't see it visually with the skill set, which is what I'm looking at as a coach, then there's no way you could tell me these guys can go over there to that time and beat those guys. Because I'm watching. When I see a guy like Devin Haney using his jab and using his footwork, and I say, he reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. Not as good, but he reminds me of Floyd. What does that tell me? He's a watered-down version of a guy that we already witnessed. Yeah. But he's currently the world champion of today. He's currently arguably the best fighter in his division today. Arguably. Right? Because, of course, it's up for debate. He hasn't proven it yet. So we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
But still.
I wouldn't even have him up there, but. You know,
okay. But he's got a portion of the world title right now. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. But when Floyd Mayweather was his weight, he was doing everything Devin Haney was doing times 10. When he was Pretty Boy Floyd at 130 pounds, you pull up any Floyd Mayweather fight at that time, you'd be like, holy shit, this boy was a monster. Like the things he does in the fights, you're just overwhelmed with. Yo, rewind that. Yo, rewind that. Did you see that? Hold up. Yo, I'll be watching Floyd Mayweather with my students. I'll be like, yo, stop. Look what he just did. And then I'll stop it and rewind it again. Did you see? No, I missed that. See? Look. I do that shit now with a fucking Errol Spence fight? Never. I do that shit with a Terence Crawford fight? Never. Canelo? Yes. Lomachenko? Yes, because Lomachenko was a little crafty with his angles. But we saw how that got shut down. You see what I'm saying? So, yo, bro, even Eric Morales. If I pull up an Eric Morales fight and you see some of the things he does, you'll be like, yo, bring that back. What they like? Oh shit!
Well, the last person I did that from this era was Chocolatito,
and Chocolatito was very fundamentally sound.
I just love the way I love the way that he blocks. He blocks the punches with his elbow and throws those counter shots by blocking with the elbows. Like it's like he's if you put everything on slow motion, is there certain fights that you think he got hit? But he plays that game of inches that you think he got hit, but you slow it down, he never really got hit, and he's just right there, boom, boom, boom. That's the last person that I'm like, that's the last person I did film study, put it that way.
Who's that?
Like, Chocolatito.
Chocolatito. No, Chocolatito does good stuff. Very good, solid.
From this era that I say I did film study.
Yeah, from this era, look, I'm trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. Canelo, maybe Lara, bro, I can't think of anybody who
it's hard. I know what you're saying. It's hard.
Anybody that I would watch to teach my son. If I had my son next to me, and I don't have kids, but if I had a son, and I said, look, son, because I want the best intentions for my son. I want you to learn from somebody. It won't be nobody from today. I'd be like, I'm going to bring you to the Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to bring you to Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm going to bring you to Oscar De La Hoya. I'm going to bring you to Eric Morales. I'm going to bring you to Salvador Sanchez. I'm going to bring you to fucking Riddick Bowe. I'm going to bring you to fucking these type of guys. And it ain't because I'm stuck in the past. All you have to do is watch those guys and then come back and watch these guys, and then get back to me.
Who would you rather watch? Sugar Ray Robinson or Sugar Shane Mosley to teach?
You know what? I haven't seen enough on Sugar Ray Robinson. I only did.
Yo, if you watch and you be like, you would say the same thing.
Okay,
You'll watch Sugar Ray
now,
Robinson.
don't get me wrong. Sugar Shane Mosley at lightweight was a beast, but I didn't like how fidgety he was. He was a fidgety fighter, and it's not a style that I'm crazy about. But he had good, quick hands and whatever. But you notice, like, I didn't bring up Sugar Shane, even though Sugar Shane Mosley's established. I don't bring him up because he's not my cup of tea. But and no disrespect to one of the GOATs, he's good. But my thing is,
for you. So basically, what you're saying, for you, boxing plateaued in the golden era. In the golden era,
who?
It plateaued.
What?
Like there was no more evolution after the.
I haven't seen anybody. I mean, the only person who's showing signs of evolution in this era is Jaron Ennis.
There you go. That it goes back to what I feel.
Like
just because it's just the eye test.
When you look at Jaron Ennis, I'm sorry, let's bring it back. If I had my son, I'd say, watch what Boots just did. That was clever.
So now you understand what I was trying to say in the beginning.
I'm trying to say he's got the most potential, but for you to say the Roy Jones and all that, I don't know yet.
No, because I'm not saying compare it, but I'm just saying
I'm not easy to give that torch away, even though I know Boots personally. I know his family. I know Rasheem Jefferson, all them guys, but I'm not so quick to say, yeah, man, you get the title. Here you go.
No, I'm not giving it up. All I'm saying that for me, looking at him and compared to his contemporaries and his age and his size and the teaching of his pops, that I know that he's a teacher and a trainer, not these mitt trainers and stuff like that just want to show off with the mitts and things of that nature. Like you're a coach. You could just see somebody and be like, man, I could tweak this, and he don't know how good this dude is, you know. For me, Boots he just got that, like he got that.
No. I agree with you there. He is a special talent, and he is extremely gifted, and he is extremely interesting to watch. The fact that he can box both stances equally as good. The fact that he can punch and he's strong and he's willing to fight you in the pocket, even though he's a long arm guy. Mm-hmm. The fact that he can box from the outside. He is definitely the most promising of anybody I've seen in this particular era that like I said, he's somebody that I could learn from right now. He's somebody who I could watch and say, that was good. Thank you for that. I'm pulling that in the toolbox. Him, Canelo, and like I said, I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of anybody else. Yeah. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate that these guys, I can't name more guys.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. Now, I'm not being a hater. I'm being honest right now.
What do you think about Shakur Stevenson?
Oh, my bad. Another guy. Shakur Stevenson is added to the list of guys that I can learn from, because he presents a different style that's not very common. I mean, the way he fights, laser sharp, straight punches, and he keeps his distance very well, and he's so mentally focused. I got a chance to see Shakur Stevenson spar in person over at TKO Cherry Hill. He sparred a kid who was extremely talented. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to name any names, but Shakur Stevenson didn't even get hit in 10 rounds of sparring. And the kid that he was boxing is not no fucking pushover. Mm-hmm. So when I saw that, I was like, damn, this kid is different. So Shakur Stevenson, yes, I can learn from him. See, I guess I have to do more thinking in my brain before I say, but look at that. That's still only 3.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the golden era, I could pull out 20 in each era. So, and I could have did it when they were active, and I could have did it after they retired. I'm not saying that these guys have to retire before I appreciate them. I know how good they are right now, but I can't learn from them, unfortunately. There's nothing that they do that I'm like, that was something I never seen before. I can go to the old fights and be like, damn, how did I miss that? You feel me? Like, how did I miss that? Like, damn, like, did you see how he put that feint before he made that turn? Like, you feel me? Like, you don't get that no more. You just get basics out here. Like, it's just like, it's watered down.
Nah, yeah, it is. It is. Paul Spendafora back in the 90s.
Paul Spatafora. Bro, he's like for all of y'all who want to see a good fucking boxer, Southpaw, watch Paul. Paul Spatafora is like watching a how to box fucking DVD.
Yeah, from Pittsburgh.
This motherfucker knew how to fucking box. And it's that style that I like to teach, bending at the waist and doing shit like that. Like, he does that shit fucking almost perfect. You know what I'm saying?
People don't know about that. And that's the 90s. That's the 90s. Paul Spatafora wasn't knocking. He was just outboxing everybody.
Man, imagine Paul Spatafora around today. He'd be a fucking handful.
And he was giving it, and stories was he was giving it to Floyd Mayweather.
I saw the video. There's some variables there, right? Floyd Mayweather apparently was out of shape, wasn't in the gym, came back in the gym and boxed Paul. So that's the story that I hear. And listen, we all have bad days in the gym, so sparring don't count. You feel me? And that's one spar. We don't know how many times they box. We know that one was recorded. I've had my ass kicked in sparring and then never let that same kid kick my ass ever again. I've had that in my life where I've gotten my ass kicked in sparring and told myself that'll never happen again, and it never happened again. So I can't go off of one sparring because I know that sparring, there's variables. What if you were out drinking the night before, stood up late, or you haven't been eating good, or you ain't been running? There's so many variables that go into sparring, or you just weren't feeling it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And but a fight is different because nigga, you knew that you had a date. If you lose, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? And even fights, there's variables. A lot of times these guys are taking fights with injuries and everything else because they don't want to turn down the money. So even fight, there's injuries. I mean, there's variables that may make a guy be like, he lost because of this. And nobody want to hear that after the loss, but that it be the truth. And then they don't get a chance to rematch or whatever, and then you'll never really know. That's just how the story goes. You feel me?
Nah, I could say I don't think none of these fighters will go 15 rounds, though. That's a whole different.
And that's another thing. We didn't even bring that up. These guys used to go 15 rounds with no strength and conditioning fucking specialists in their team. These motherfuckers now, they need strength and conditioning coaches.
They need
substances. They need fucking
the sauna.
They need cheerleaders in their fucking corner with pom-poms to fucking cheer them on while they're training and shit. Yo, like, back in the day, these dudes used to fight 15 rounds and fight hard. Pause. 15 rounds. Not move around for 15 rounds or keep their hands up like this for 15 rounds. Working, slipping, working, ripping and running. And they did it with no strength and conditioning coach.
What fighter today you think could go 15 rounds?
You know it ain't Canelo. His ass
no.
somewhere.
Probably the flyweights. Maybe the flyweights or bantamweights.
Yeah, maybe Terence Crawford because he holds his punches so much. If you watch Terence Crawford, he don't punch a lot. So I could see him waiting and picking and waiting and picking. You know what I mean? But, the fact of the matter is guys today are not built like guys from back then because back then you weren't given a choice. This is what it was. Look at us now. We all got choices. We got options, bro. Why would you want to be a fighter and fight the hardest fight for the less money when you could fucking fight Logan Paul or Jake fucking Paul for millions? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to go get a job digging ditches when you could start a YouTube channel and hope that it blows up and get paid on YouTube?
Coach Anthony!
Why would you want to go the harder route when we have these options? We're smarter now. So we've found the road of least resistance. But the problem with that is when you bump into the animals out there that don't got those privileges, you in big trouble. Mm-hmm. You feel me? You in big trouble. It's like us. We go to the jungle with some lions and shit. They going to kill us. We better be strapped up, and even with a gun, we scared. Listen, it's a different mentality. Them dudes didn't have nothing. It's like when you get immigrants that come to this country and they see us complaining and they laugh at us. They go, you soft ass motherfucker. Guess what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to live in a house with 10 people. I'm going to work my ass off all day, all night. We're going to stack up. Then we're going to start a business. And then we're going to make millions. And we're going to do it in your country. And your bum ass been there your whole life. And you still can't figure it out.
Yo, Coach Anthony, I said that. I said the same shit you say. Excuse my language. I said the same thing you said. Oh, I got critique, bro. I got critique. Racist, coon, because I said the same shit. And I said people from other country, from the Caribbean or third world country, they don't give a damn about your struggle here.
Yo, we live like the kings and the queens of the 1800s. We live right now like the celebrities of 1999, bro. We already currently, like me and you, we move in like when I go outside, and people who know me from YouTube, you know what they come up to me? Yo, Coach Ant, what's good, man? Love your YouTube channel. Love your instructionals. I bought you one course, man. It helped me significantly. Yo, bro, can I get a picture? Yo, we didn't used to do that to people back in the day. We used to do that only to celebrities.
Facts.
Now, anybody could be a celebrity. Anybody can start a YouTube channel and give out some value. And then people who appreciate it going to show them love. So the thing is, we are so blessed, but we don't know the struggle that these guys had to go through. Therefore, we're not built the same. We can't be built the same. And even if we were built like that, you notice yourself even getting softer as your life gets easier. You'd be like, man, I'll never go back to that bullshit. I'll never go back to doing that.
Hold on. This guy Mello on the comment. No. You know what I've been saying. You've been on my channel. You understand what I'm saying. Don't agree with Coach Anthony now. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been saying the same thing. And I've caught mad flack for saying what you just said right now, Coach. I've been getting flack for months. Because I kept it real. People don't want to hear that shit. People just want to hear the real shit to particular voices they want to hear it from. I've been saying the same thing.
Maybe it's how you said it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I said it just like that. With the passion you just said in your voice, I said it just like that.
So my thing is just when you got it good, and there's nothing wrong with getting it good. I saw somebody had posted like, yo, man, don't bash somebody who grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth, because that should be the goal. Like, for instance, me, I don't have kids, but when I do, you better believe my kids are gonna have it easier than I did. And there's nothing that's the goal, is to see. The problem is when we talk like this, people take it the wrong way, like we're shitting on people who are doing good in life. All I'm saying is when you put a poodle in there with a pack of wolves, you already know what the outcome's gonna be. And these new guys are poodles compared to them guys. Them guys couldn't walk a day in their shoes, these new guys. And that's a fact. And I know, because I don't work with some of these guys. These guys can't walk a day in their shoes, man. These guys don't even have the fundamental IQ of them dudes did. I be teaching guys stuff, and I be like, how you ain't know that? Yo, you're 15-0. How you ain't know that, dog? Now, you should have known this shit fucking 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Guys be 15-0 and they don't be knowing certain things. And I be like, back in the day, fucking amateur, high-level amateur would know all that shit already.
Yep.
You feel me? And teaching guys now 20-0 how to do the basic shit that they should have been known, because everybody's skipping steps now. You could turn a guy pro, you could pick his fights, you could make his road easier, and then the next thing you know, he's a world champion. And then the next thing you know, he's being compared to the greats, and he ain't done nothing. Different game that we playing nowadays.
It's not a poor man's sport no more.
Not a poor man's sport no more, thank God. Because guess what? This shit was whack for the fighters back then. Even though I'm praising them right now, and I'm giving them their flowers, all the older fighters and stuff like that, I wouldn't wish that on any of the new fighters, for them to have to go through what them guys went through.
Especially, look at what Frey Benitez.
You know what I mean? And a lot of these new guys, like fans, they want that for the fighters. But then this is my question to the fans. When's the last time you sent the contribution to Gerald McClellan? When's the last time you sent the contribution to even, the Puerto Rican kid who was brain dead?
Pichardo Colon.
Yeah. When's the last time y'all sent a penny to the fucking guy? You feel me? When's the last time you wrote a letter to the family and said, listen, I know you don't know me, but I just want to express my condolences. And, your son changed my life. He inspired me to be a boxer. When's the last time they fucking did that? But they want these fighters to go out there and risk their lives on a day-to-day for no money to entertain them. Nah, that ain't right. So I'm okay with the new way of doing things. But these new guys just have to understand, when I tell them, sorry, brother, you can't be compared to him. Just take it on the chin, my man. You getting money, you good. Take that on the chin.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you gonna say?
No, I was saying because I think I remember a couple of months ago I tweeted because Pichardo Colon's mom, she runs his social media. So I said, some encouraging stuff and stuff like that, because he was walking, not walking, but taking his first steps he was taking his first steps. And basically it's like ain't nobody sending not even messages. Forget about the money and all that stuff, but not even messages of encouragement. Like, these fighters are forgotten. You know how it is. These fighters are forgotten. Yo, Wilfred Benitez is still alive, y'all. He don't got his faculties. He can't walk. He can't do nothing, but he's still alive. But this is one of the greats that ever done it, right? And then people want to be like, oh, but these fighters got to do what they did in the past. But they don't give a fuck about the people in the past anyway. They don't give a back. Yo, they don't care about the people in the past or today.
No, nobody cares about nobody. Let's just keep it a buck, right? Everybody's out here for themselves. It's like DJ Khaled says, it's a cool world. Bundle up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But this is my thing. Before you criticize these guys, ask yourself, what are you contributing to the situation? Like, my thing is, I understand why guys are moving the way they're moving right now, and I'm totally okay with it. But, we can't ignore that the older fighters took the hard route. And it was because it wasn't by choice. It was by design. They had no choice. You feel me? Because if they had a choice, trust me, they'd have did it too. But, they had to do what they had to do. You know what I'm saying? At that time, that's what it was.
Facts.
Man, that was deep, man.
we gotta go there, man. Boxing translates to life itself, man.
Boxing life, man. That's why I say boxing life, so much. I'm gonna give y'all another opportunity to get in here. We just had a nice little segment. If you want to come back in here and say a few words of what we just talked about, feel more than welcome. I'm sending the link out there. You know what I mean? And this is just, it's what it is, guys. Boxing's serious, man. Let me see right here. What else we got? There's so many questions coming in. What's this right here? Milo, I got cruise.
Nah, cause I'll go with this dude. He say, I said it a different way. I said, man, please, man, I got crucified, man, just for saying the same.
What they were saying to you?
The same. You don't give a damn about the black culture and stuff like that. Cause I said the same thing. Cause I'm telling you about the culture that's coming in here, that's coming into America. I said, unfortunately, they don't give a fuck about the sad story. Unfortunately, they don't care about the sad story. Just like you said, yo, my man, I managed a building before, bro, in one apartment. 11 dudes, bro. 11 dudes in a studio. And they was all delivery boys. Just delivery from Chinese stores and stuff like that. They all shacked up. I'd seen a Yemen family with 12 members in one apartment, one room. The bathroom in Harlem, it was just a tub in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's called sacrifice.
You know what I'm saying?
It's called sacrifice, man. If you want anything in life, you got to sacrifice. And that's something that they understand, you know, people who come from nothing. You know what I mean? Think of all these other places, man. We're so blessed in the United States. Like, you know,
they look at it like that. Oh, y'all complaining?
Listen, I could take you to the projects right now. I could take you to Section 8 housing right now. And you got kids with iPhones. You got kids with an iPhone, man.
No, New York City, you got the homeless dude, man, all geared up with Jordans.
You drinking different colored juices and shit, whatever you want. You might call them the quarter juices. You might call whatever, right? These motherfuckers is eating and shitting drinking and shitting in the same water in different countries. And we out here and we're fucking complaining that, you know what I'm saying? You know, we live in the hood. But we live in the hood, but we got a cell phone. We got new sneakers. We got a meal on our table every day. Whether it's a good meal or bad meal, we got a meal. We don't got to walk miles for water. We take a shit in our own house. Yo, it's just a different level of fucking poverty, dog, that we can't even comprehend. You feel me? Like, so they understand when they come here, we put them in the hood, man. We put them in the worst neighborhoods, the Philadelphia, New York City, Chicago got the offer, and they're like, all right, thank you for the upgrade.
Okay, let's break it down. I'll break it down, layman, so they can understand. A family in DR. See, let's say like my parents, they come from DR. They end up in Harlem or Wash Heights. This is the life. That's the ceiling. They made it. The hood of the hood, where I lived in 4th floor, and back in the days,
somewhere we don't even go back to right now. We go there like, I ain't going back over here.
But back in the days, the lab, I'm gonna know so people can understand. Drug lab was on the 6th floor and the 5th floor. There was a line from outside, from around the corner, from Audubon to St. Nick around the corner. A line for fiends. That's the era I grew up in. But for my folks, this is heaven. They made it to America. You ain't go one day without hearing a bunch of gunshots. Right or wrong?
Yeah, that's a fact.
If you ain't hear gunshot, you're like, something happens, son. Something happened. Every day, pop, 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 pop. My mom would be like, yo, get down, get down. We all the way in the fucking 4th floor. They could get down.
Nigga, the apartment we lived in Brooklyn, a bullet came through and got into the kitchen.
Yo, we had like two bullet holes in our living room, bro. That's our era.
Yeah.
But for my folks and my grandmother, when she came in the 70s, this was life. It wasn't like if they hear people for them complaining. So I'm telling. So what I was referring is how people see the culture is, unfortunately. But the thing is, what they gotta understand, that over there, I know people, I know family members that didn't have shoes till they was 13 years old.
That's crazy. Meanwhile, we had shoes our whole life.
So when they come here and they be like, oh, we can't get this. Unfortunately, whether y'all want to hear it or not, for them, it's complaining. What? Do you know how it feels, yo, one time, when I went to DR, when I haven't been there for a long time, and I seen two of the girls, they came from school, two of my little niece, not niece, but my mother's cousin's daughters. They walking from school. That shit was like 98, and 98 degrees is not the 98 degrees over here. Barefooted, bro. Their feet is like wood. So these people come here and they hear complaints. Oh, but it's not. Yo, what you trying to say? Why you not complaining? You know the history. It's not about that. It's about they don't have the time to cater to your history because they just trying to survive. Oh, punch, but you punch. What are you saying? Oh, you don't give a damn about. Nah, I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you the mentality. I'm telling you how other people's mentality. They're not gonna cater to whatever struggle. They're just gonna come to this country and do what they gotta do. That's it. They don't got time to care about the struggle or what you gone through. They could understand it, but
And
they're
that's
trying to
you know
survive.
what's crazy. So we can get off that topic and move back to boxing. It's the same shit in boxing. If you want to be successful in boxing, you got to have that same mentality. It's got to be by any means necessary. It has to be like, I don't give a shit if, you know what I'm saying, I don't have all the things I need. I'm going to make this shit work. You know what I mean? You got to really want this shit. And that's why boxing life is the same exact thing as life, man. It's like, you know what I mean? Y'all know how I feel about boxing life, man. Give me 1 second. This is a shameless plug. Y'all know I sell the boxing life shirts. Y'all know I hashtag this. Y'all know I was the first one with this right here. You know what I'm saying? This is a fact, though. This is exactly what it's about, man. Boxing is life. You know what I mean? And when you want something, it's by any means, and that's what immigrants understand, and that's why immigrants come to this country and dominate a lot of the times with less intelligence, technically, right? Because being smart is not always being book smart. I'm not very book smart, and I've done more than a lot of my friends who got college degrees. So it's all about determination and just doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we have to all get back to. We can all have that level of appreciation for our blessings and that level of hunger. Man, as Americans, as people who live in the United States or any country similar, man, there should be no excuses, man.
Yeah, man.
Imagine if you work like an immigrant on your YouTube channel right now.
That's
That's
what we
what you're
do.
doing, though. That's what you
That's
kind
what
of
we.
do, right? But
Yeah.
imagine if you like felt like, I could do more. I could do more. You probably can if you found something inside of you. I say that to myself all the time. People be like, Coach, yeah, you're doing great. I'm like, nah, I could do more.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to sleep, bro. I don't want to sleep. I just sleep because I know I have to. When you're doing something that you love, you do it. You forget to sleep sometimes.
Yo, look,
Your girl probably had to be like, "Baby, that's it. Turn it off." Or
yo, I can't
that's it.
believe it's been almost 3 hours we've been on this right here. Well, at least I have. You hopped on like halfway through the first hour, but
Because boxing is life, man.
yo, crazy. It's crazy, yo. Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, man, I got the CA Power Hour. I should call it the CA Power 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? But the CA Power Hour gives you 75% off all the courses on my website while you guys are here rocking out with us on the live. And then after that, I got to bring it right back. I do got the Memorial Day sale going for the rest of the weekend, though. So if you missed the Power Hour, you'll still be able to get the Memorial Day sale. Just, if you want to cop a course, you know, it's crazy too, man. And just with the courses, right? Like I think about all the conversations and all the years of training and everything that I learned over the years. I'm able to put it into a course and literally distribute it to people. And like, it's crazy because it's like they couldn't do this before. Like you would have to know the person personally to get that information from them. Like, yo, let me call my man that no, you know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, yo, I like how he teaches. Let me just go to his website, put in that CA Power Hour, get that $100 course for 75% off, and now that $100 course is $25. And now that's nothing basically. And I could just fucking learn from him, right? And I'm not trying to sell, I'm just being serious. Like it's just we're so
Now you do a wonderful job. I think what makes your regimen and your special what you do is how you explain certain things. You're very concisive in how you explain. You're very clear in what you're explaining. And your video that you put out, if you're talking about jab, if you're talking about precision, if you're talking about feint, if you're talking about mastering the shoulder roll and catch, block, shoot. You know what I'm saying? You're very concise, and I think that separates you from everybody else. You're very concise in the way you talk, your delivery, and everything.
I appreciate that, man, and I try. And the reason I think I've been able to be successful that way is because, for one, I had good teachers. I've been around good fighters slash coaches over the years, and not only that, I owned a gym for many years, and I used to have to teach people who just didn't understand boxing, didn't come from any kind of a athletic background, and try to teach these people how to do things that people naturally could pick up. And I'd be like, how do I get this person to really understand what I'm saying? So I'd break down every damn fucking, everything. And that helped me be a better teacher overall because I don't leave anything out. A lot of times trainers will leave stuff out because they assume that you're going to get it. And then I have to be like, nah, man, you can't assume that they're going to pick that up because you picked it up. A lot of these trainers who were fighters, they pick shit up like that because they're athletes. And you get a guy who's not an athlete and you can't expect them to pay. It's like trying to teach me how to be Bill Gates or something. Like, it's never going to happen. Like, you would have to sit there with me every day and, like, show me again and again and again. And I might be able to do just a little bit of it. You feel me? It's the same thing for a lot of people trying to learn boxing. They just can't pick it up. So what you have to do is try to break everything down. You know what I mean? So that's why I do that.
So let me give you a little test. Can I give Coach Anthony, world-renowned trainer, a test right now?
Well,
Deontay, this last question. Deontay Wilder walks up to you and be like, yo, I need you to train me to fucking beat Tyson Fury. What do I got to do to beat Tyson Fury? What's your game plan? What's your game plan, Coach Anthony?
I think I answered this before, but I think that a couple of things he would have to do. First thing I would try to get him to do is to jab with Tyson Fury. So when Tyson Fury throws his jab, try to jab with him. And the reason I say that is because we need something that is going to disrupt the rhythm of Tyson Fury's jab, okay, and set up our big right hand, which is going to be off that jab. And really, Tyson Fury has almost every tool better than Deontay Wilder. So the goal is to land the right hand. Bottom line, the goal is we got to get the right hand. We showed that we can land it. We showed that we could hurt him when we landed it. He landed it and hurt him twice in the first fight. So when Tyson Fury tries to get off the jab with him and try to get Tyson to freeze up a little bit, shoot that right hand over the top. So that would be, one of the main things I would work on with him. And other things, I would try to tighten up his defense a little bit and teach him how to deal with, certain punches that might be coming at him. But, at this stage, I don't really know how much you can get a guy defensively.
Come on, better. Coach Anthony. We need you, Coach Anthony. He said, I need you. You can't tell me this answer, Coach.
No. The truth is, I would have to really see what kind of defense would work. Like, maybe with a guy like Deontay Wilder, slipping and rolling isn't the best approach. Maybe we focus more on catching shots, so it's a little easier for him because, Deontay Wilder's kind of like, he's not like a smooth guy. You know what I mean? So we have to get him to do certain things. We might have to bring the fundamentals and the basics into his game a little bit better and just get him to do the basic shit good enough so he can go ahead and land that right hand.
I think. Okay, I could take away some certain things from the first fight. He did land in more body shots. Why, if you do got a powerful right hand, does that right hand have to land in the face? Could that right hand land on the body? It's not like Tyson Fury got the Anthony Joshua type of body. There is flabby going around there. Can you implement that right hand into the body? Because you did outpunch him in the body the first fight. Can you stop falling for the feints like you did in the second fight? So I think there is certain things that he could get better at. Well, not better, but stay disciplined at.
If he could be first, time the jab with him, be first, he might be able to do something. Because if he waits for Tyson Fury, you don't want to wait on a skillful guy. For all my
Okay.
guys out there who are fighters, who are amateurs or whatever, and you're watching this, you don't want to wait on a skillful guy to get started. If a skillful guy gets started, you're going to be falling behind. Think of it like if you're racing somebody who's fast and they get a head start, and now you're trying to catch up, and the whole fucking time you're behind them. That's basically what's going to happen if you're waiting on a skillful guy. If a guy is skillful like Tyson Fury, who knows how to do damn near every trick in the book, then you waiting for him is only going to mess you up. You want to be first. You want to get him thinking. You want to get him to slow down. You want to get him to think about more countering now because if he can't get busy because he's too worried about what you're going to do. So we need Deontay Wilder to be a little more aggressive and let that right hand go a little bit more of the law of average, where you're throwing more, you're eventually going to land, and that would be the best approach, man. Not be all aggressive and wrestling and stuff, but just be more busy, more trying to just like keep Tyson Fury backing up. And if we can get Tyson to do one of these, right hand come over the top, it could be lights out.
No uppercuts. I never seen probably Deontay Wilder throw an uppercut, nothing like that.
Yeah, but
Come on, Coach Anthony, you gonna let Deontay Wilder there, Coach?
man, listen, I mean, Deontay Wilder is fighting. Training with Malik Scott. Malik Scott's my man. Big shout out to Malik Scott. So hopefully Malik Scott could bring some of that stuff out of him. He's a very knowledgeable fighter, and has a pedigree of good teachers in his history of boxing. So he should be able to do something with Deontay Wilder, hopefully. But it's hard to change a guy overnight, man. You can't just change a guy overnight. You have
I understand that, but that's Coach Anthony. I think Coach Anthony, if you get his deal 75% off, he could change you overnight if you listen and you're determined and you're focused to listen to Coach Anthony.
This is the good thing about if they get the courses. They don't got to learn it overnight. They own it, and they could watch it over and over for the rest of their lives until they finally get it. This ain't an overnight gig. You feel me?
But it's like a marathon. It's like watching Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I watch it all day on a Sunday. That's like watching Coach Anthony's. You know what I'm saying? I could learn it overnight.
It's like, this shit, man, this boxing shit, man, is one of the easiest / hardest things you're ever gonna do. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then let me rephrase that. It's one of the hardest things you're ever gonna do, but it's easy. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Everything is doable, but it's just not easy at the same time. It's just one of those things. It's like difficult and easy at the same time. I don't know how else to put it. And when you're fighting somebody like a Tyson Fury and you got a skill set like Deontay Wilder, you got an uphill battle. So you gotta go for it, man. You gotta go for it. You gotta try to knock this guy out, man. We ain't winning no decisions, man. We gotta knock him out. Unless you knock him down 3 times in the fight and he don't knock you down. He almost could have won the damn decision in the first fight just based off the knockdowns, you know what I'm saying? And a couple of little toss-up rounds.
Let's go with Tevin Farmer. You gonna be the head coach?
I don't know what's going on with that situation, but with Tevin, Tevin is, he's going through a lot with the fights and trying to figure out what's he got going to happen next. But
he's a free agent, right?
Yeah, now he's a free agent, so now he's able to move a little bit more on his own, and we'll see what happens. But I'm here for Tevin. Tevin knows that, so we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But it's just been a difficult road for him in the last year since he lost the title for him to even get a fight. You know what I mean? Just getting a fight has been a pain in the ass. So let alone the rematch that he was supposed to get.
Yeah, and this is why fighters hold on. This is the reason, right? Like what he's going through. This is the reason why these fighters hold on and not risk it, because if they do lose it, look what happens now.
I mean, look at that. He literally had a world title less than 2 years ago, and the guy can't get a freaking fight.
Crazy.
So, but he'll be all right now. You know what I mean? There was also some business shit there. You know what I mean? It's so much, man. It's hard for me to keep up with everything. Like, I'd be like, damn, like, this is so much deeper. Like when you're a coach, man, it's just fun because you don't got to worry about none of that stuff. All you do is coach the fighter. You ain't got to get involved with all that stuff. But at the same time, when you're a coach and you're putting in hours and your guy's not fighting, it's like, well, damn, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, we're training, but we need to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, time is money, and it's like, what are we doing? You know, it's been a year and change since he's fought. I think he'll get a fight though this year at some point. So hopefully that's what it is, man. But yeah, man, we've been on here for almost 3 hours. You know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Guys, go to the website, please, man. CA Power Hour, man. I want you guys to get the courses, but even more important, I want you to get it at 75% off. CoachAnthonyBoxing.com, pretty easy to get. And I want to thank everybody who came on here. And Moonshine, man, you just know when to just pull up, man. I was on here like, I'm gonna be by myself. I ain't got nothing to talk to. Nah, but I was going to talk to the people today, but you came in, you made the show fun, you made the show interesting. I know you was going through a little battle here with somebody. He was going through a little beef.
Bad low. No, that's my guy, man. That's my guy.
But Devin Haney fights tomorrow, so I'll be tuned into that. Who else is on that card?
I don't know. To be honest, for me, it's not a good call. I mean, you got Gary Russell's brother that's gonna be fighting on the Nonito Donaire card on Showtime. I think they got a better card on Showtime overall, in my opinion. You know, I'll be watching both. I'll be flicking both of it. You know, it's a good fight. It's for Devin Haney.
What's the name? What network is Devin Haney fighting on?
The Zone.
Oh, perfect. All right, but so I'll definitely be seeing that. And then that's it.
What do you want to see from Devin Haney? I didn't know. I don't know if you explained that in the beginning, but what do you want to see from Devin Haney? I think that, I have him winning a decision, 116-112, but I do feel like he needs to make a statement. It's almost like Bubu Andrade. I know that you could win. I know you could outbox your opponent, but there's a certain time where you just need to make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he just needs to, do what he does best. I don't think that he needs to try to force anything. If he tries to force something, that could be a disaster. So if I was him, I just think he needs to be on his jab. He needs to box the way he always does and just make sure he's landing his punches and not getting hit. The game of box, the art of boxing, man. Hit and don't get hit. Don't worry too much about the fans. Don't worry too much about trying to knock a guy out. The knockout will come if you just let it come, but
pause.
I also don't want to see him pause. I also don't want to see him too defensive where he's not letting his hands go and he's too worried about getting out the way and stuff like that. I like to see him establish his jab. I like to see him land his right hand, his beautiful punches that he has, and to show that he's a nice, good, classical, real talented boxer that I know he is. I know he's capable. And I like to see him, just showcase it. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
There's really not too much else I need from him. I don't expect him to get a stoppage or anything. If he gets it, cool. I'm not that coach. I'm more that fan. I'm not that fan like, you better get a knockout. Because I know that's not how I go. I mean, it's not easy to knock a guy out when a guy ain't wanting to go out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. That's why I say he's going to get a decision, but I do think at this point, since everybody is gauging him with Gervonta Davis and Teofimo Lopez, and they're just gauging performances, maybe he does need to make a statement. But that's just
but I mean, I think a good boxing clinic is a statement. And I don't think boxing clinics get enough respect for statements. Everybody wants to be like, oh, you ain't get the knockout, you ain't make the statement. But, if you box a dude's ears off, you know what I'm saying? If you box a dude's ears off, man. Super chat. If you box a dude's ears off, you know what I'm saying? That's considered making a statement, in my opinion.
Is that One Punch versus Melo one day? Great show, Coach Anthony.
Yo, thank you. Elizabeth Flores, big shout out to you. And guys, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Coach Anthony. How can they find you on Instagram, man? A lot of times we're more active on Instagram than YouTube. How can they find you on there?
Oh, Punch Drunk Boxing _ Punch Drunk _ Boxing.
You might as well put that in the comments. No, he tired. He like, I don't want to type, man.
No, hold on. Shit, let me do my own little marketing here. You know, let me do a little marketing here.
But yeah, man. Oh man, yo, 3 hours on here, man. That's how you know.
That's it.
That's how you know we had
Only 3 hours. That's it. You gotta go for another 3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Come on, man. You gotta go for another 3,
3 hours.
man. Right now, the other side of the pond right now is what? They waking up right now. What is 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning in the UK? They waking up right now, coach.
Damn. Yeah. Well, I'll be going to sleep, man. I'll be sleep while they awake. You heard? Like, but yo, I'm probably gonna come on again.
You gonna do the live commentary?
Sunday, maybe tomorrow after fight. I don't do it during the fight commentary stuff too much because I like to enjoy the fight. I want to watch it, man. I don't want to be, you know what I mean? That's your lane right now. But so if y'all want commentary, check out my man Moonshine's channel for that. But I mean, maybe one day I'll do that, man. But right now, I don't think I'm gonna do that. But for the most part, I might come on the next day though, or directly after the fight, depending on how tomorrow is, and talk about it.
Okay. Facts.
So that's where I'm at with it, man. But yo, thank you everybody for coming on. Truly appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Help me grow. You know what I mean? My YouTube channel, the more I grow, pause, the more I'll be, you know what I'm saying? The more stuff I'm gonna put out, man. It's just that's just how it works. You feel me? And you already know what it is, man. Boxing life.
All right. Peace out, everybody.